into 8 by 11 pages in the back of the book. It's very handy. I'm
nice.
It's of course it's just Darlene's map chopped up.
Harbor Town is an all-new series from
it's a very handy version of the folio.
Tabletop gaming scene.
Excellent.
Unique, flexible, and playable.
And you're saying
Harbor
that's
Town
a drive-through?
will take your games to
Yeah, the drive-through.
Cool. And that was just from the folio itself, the glossography folio, or was it the box
Well,
set?
the folio, the 1980 folio before the box set. Yeah.
Cool.
And what they've done is they've made it into a booklet. And so it's got the heraldry. All the stuff that's in the folio is in the booklet, but it's cut down to a spined 8 by 11 booklet. But what's nice is everything's in there, so you don't lose your maps, and you can jump back. It's kind of a sampling of an atlas formation of what you do, but with a very unconcerned breakdown of the map. Because it's bound in, and it's just a kind of quick and dirty version, but it's very handy to have it all at one, in one form, and not the big foldout. Oh,
yeah.
Good to see you. It's good to be
Sorry,
back. I don't know what.
Jason, I just want to say hi. Yeah.
So Leonard,
yo,
was working on getting a Legend of the Gaming Terrain World on the show, right, Leonard?
Well, they started the Dwarven Forge Kickstarter today.
Yeah.
So I've only done it and updated it once so far. But at least I'm not hitting.
If you have a Kickstarter edition,
stuff yet.
Yeah, I think if you have a Kickstarter addiction and you're into role-playing games, that must be tough.
He's got $1.5 million in it.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
$1.5 million.
Yeah, I think he and Reaper are the ones that compete about having the biggest.
Oh yeah, the Reapers had like $3 million this last time.
Yeah, and if there's anyone in the RPG,
yeah, you're right, Jason,
that can get close.
The only problem I had with Reaper is you had to wait so damn long. To
you still do. April next year, but. Wow. I can't make any complaints about Reaper.
No, you can't.
No, you don't dare.
You can't. Yeah. You can't complain at
No,
all.
I love Reaper.
Yeah.
Well, Reaper's been getting those machines with their Kickstarter money, but they're still dependent on China. So, that April is a very nebulous date for their, they've always been delayed on the China end.
Carlos will be on 7:45 roughly, by the way.
Yeah.
I tried reaching out to Gary, but Gary's not been on Discord all day.
He might be on vacation too. Yeah.
That's true. Oh, he may be. I don't know. Gary takes vacations.
I'm not so sure. He might take vacations. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, he's back in Texas, I think. And he's down there helping out his sister and the 2 kids, and then back in California, where he's from, he takes care of his mom and his other sister and the nephews and nieces. So, he's always doing a number of things.
Gary's the man.
There's some big dice in the Dwarven Forge thing too.
Oh, are there?
Yeah. A big size 20s. I don't know if it's as big as that 20, but it's larger. It's larger than normal.
So
three different types.
I probably will be giving away 3 of these sets. The green ones I have. These, the Aklish dice. Oh, you can't see them right now. On at least 1 set on Thursday and maybe 2 on Saturday for the special Living Greyhawk Triad game as well. So I'm going to be giving a lot of these sets away this week. Yep.
Yeah, I picked up an auction lot of modern dice sets, and they've got those monster 20s. They're like the Ike dollar 20s. They're these big D20s now. I guess that's a very popular thing.
It is, and my guys love them. And remember, I had my Greyhawk Kids game last night, and right, here, as we're chatting here, we have 57 events now for Greyhawk Con.
Wow.
And I think we're at 122 signups. Okay, so yeah, it's going very, very well, everyone. Thank you. I really appreciate the support. Really excited. What's up, Greg? Good to see you on, man. I don't know what to do with myself. I was down the shore for a week. It was nice and all, but you know, I gotta get back to the swing of things here. Hey, what's up, Wiley? Wiley Hobbit's game, which is on Sunday, has one open spot, and that's it. So once Wiley's spot gets filled, I will convert it over to a highlighted stream. So yeah, it's going well.
Yeah.
Lots of major announcements again tonight. So.
Well, I know a lot of people are talking about all the virtual tabletop stuff. I've been having a fine time with my Discord voice-only game. Much better than I thought.
That's great. That's
and
awesome.
I know it bothers Rich D. You know, he really wants a much more structured thing. But I really like the kind of fog of war that goes on with just having the verbal description.
Hey, you know, it's your DM, your style, and you DM the way you want, man. You know?
Well, they're going to be enjoying some mapping pretty soon. So they've been in the forest, so it's been really no point putting, you know, too many map things worried about.
Cool, Wiley. If you got a crew, if you're not streaming, I didn't check. Yeah, just hop on, man. Hop on, throw a host over, and that would be awesome. So I appreciate it. Yeah, got to get back into the swing of things here. All right, so we're going way back to the beginning tonight, and we're going to talk. I have to talk about the top 30 greatest of all time article, and maybe I can bash it while Gary's not on. So. But Leonard, one of yours is 29th, which I think two of them should be on there, and L2 is 29th of all time, according to you know, we need better input than that. I said to Gary, hey, it's my own fault. You know, I wasn't involved back then, so I can't complain. I think it was 2004 that came out. So, but we want to talk about the effects, and Carlos will be joining us when he gets free. So wait one more minute and then come on. Hopefully everyone is looking forward to a nice discussion tonight. I'm excited to get back. And what a week coming up. Oh my gosh. What a week coming up. So, hey Amanda, I talked to Carlos. Oh, I did, Amanda. Thank you. Yes, I did. We, you know, that tropical storm came through, and it really didn't affect us at all down the shore. It was more over Philadelphia and northwest of Philadelphia that got slammed.
In Central.
Oh yeah, you too, Jason. I know you got slammed too.
No. I'm down Delaware. My brother got their power lines were all torn down.
Yeah.
They were without power for 2 days.
Oh, I go insane. I would really go insane with that. Not having a power, more not the AC, but more the what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with no internet, no streaming? All right, we're 1 minute early, so here we go. And you're gonna see me drinking my seltzer here. Good evening, everyone. It's good to be back. So right now I got Jason Zavoda back on. It's been a little while for Jason. He's got a new machine connected up, and we can hear him clearly now. And I got Anna Meyer as usual on, which is awesome. And then I got Leonard, which is even more awesome than awesomeness can 1,000 times over, man. So thank you so very much all for coming on. I know we got people hopping on, still hopping on. What's up, Will? All right, so tonight, you got to hang in there tonight, man. I got some mega announcements. It seems like I always do, but I really truly do.
But they're getting better and better. That's the
better and better. So we got a new sponsor. You'll see him in the right-hand corner as it flips through. We got a brand new sponsor. I have a really beautiful ad from them, and you'll see some of the stuff we're doing with that sponsor already. And it's going to be great. And then I got a big announcement about next week's Gabbin. So It's going well. So, how's everyone tonight? Leonard, how are you doing tonight? Doing good?
Fair to mediocre. Nothing wonderful. I just finished my 6th chemo. That's always fun.
Are you doing okay?
So for a few days, I'm kind of spacey, spacier than usual. Anyway.
Well, maybe we'll get some insights out of you, some great insights with that spaciness, you know?
Yeah.
Plus, Leonard's going to try another contest attempt here. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And Jason, you haven't been on in like 2 months, man.
No, it's just my health hasn't been great. Some stomach problems and stuff. So I'm starting to feel a little better. So I've been trying to get on, listen to the show, and I'm running a Discord game. So I think I'm up for some Zoom.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And Anna, have we ever not spoken for an entire week?
Well, yeah, only if you're on Discord. So yeah, exactly. that hasn't happened in a year. So I'm kind of eager to get back. I've been I've been working hard, and the thing is, I'm sorry to everyone. I've tried to keep up on email and a few on Discord, but I'm behind on Facebook, and I'm behind. I have a couple of emails too, stuff that I haven't answered. I just posted on my Patreon post a little bit what I'm up to, and I can talk a bit about that more at the end. And I also posted it on my Facebook group, the Flanders Geographical Society, a link to it. So and there was a bunch of comments I saw early this morning. I'm going to get to them. So I'm so sorry for everyone that I haven't kept up with. So, but I've been busy with a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah.
All right. So and that's great to hear that everyone's doing well. DM 221532. I want to say thank you, Dave. Thank you. That's all, we don't have to go into detail, but thank you very much. Jason, we can hear him now. So
Yep. Awesome.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you.
Yes. So that was awesome that happened. And, it's really going to help us out tonight. So Leonard, what do you got? You got about an hour roughly?
Yeah, about an hour from now.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk. The list is up. Leonard, I know this is 2004. 30 greatest of all time. The list is right there, all 30 of them. There you are. The Assassin's Knot L2 by Lenko Kafka, 29.
What number of dragon is that?
Just Dragon Dungeon 116 by Eric Mona, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago. Yep. I want to tell you some of the contributors to this, just so you get a perspective on who really Stolak, he's going to do another competition, so don't worry about it, man. You can get another one in here. Leonard's going to do something a little bit, another one. All right, here are the people who contributed to this article. Keith Baker, Wolfgang Bauer, Eric Boyd, Andy Collins, Monty Cook, Bruce Cordell, Ed Greenwood, Gary Julian, Alan Kohler, Mike Merles, Christopher Perkins, Clark Peterson, Chris Promise, Jean Reb, did I say that right? John D. Ratliff, and Bill Slavisek are the people who contributed to this article to show the greatest of all, 30 of all time. Now, we're going in a different direction tonight. We're going to talk about our greatest legendary adventures of all time. So there are going to be some not on the list. But we're going to go, and they're scrolling through now, the older ones. I want to talk about how they had an effect on Greyhawk in its entirety, and some of them, there's no third-party ones up here. I'll give this article one big kudos. And what is that, Jason? What third-party adventure made this list?
Oh, wow. It's got to be the I'm not sure, was it the Temple of Erethel?
No.
Or Dark Tower?
Dark Tower made the list. Dark Tower was 21st. It's one of my favorite. It's Judges Guild by Paul Janelle Jacques, and that made 21st. That was good to my heart there. That one made it. But there's one that kind of upset me a little bit about, and let's get this over with now, okay? Number 8. How the freaking hell is this thing the 8th greatest module of our time, Leonard? Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil? Are you kidding me? This has got, Leonard, this has got the vampire Thrommel in it that they bust my balls about all the time. Is this adventure right here? So this is, they say this is the, yeah, I mean, I understand why. You heard the list that I wrote. Look who the author is. One of the people that were Monty Cook, who was in the group. Yeah. So there you go. All right. So yes, it's yeah, exactly. Yeah, Josh just popped on at the right time. So 8th on the list. No.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Monty Cook have done a few things that are not that good. Otherwise, he's done some awesome stuff. So it's,
yeah.
We all have our things that we not that.
I don't know, Leonard. Good temple, bad temple. Yeah. Good, bad. There you go. Good and bad. Okay, so there. I said my piece. I'm not going to throw this like I did the last time. I think I threw this
Have
down.
you guys seen the movie Ready Player One?
Yes. All the DD references. Yes.
That's got some lovely stuff in it.
It does. It does.
Well, I need to see that one. I haven't seen it.
The book is
completely different, by the way.
Yeah, the book's way better.
The book is quite different from the
from
the movie. Okay. But I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, the movie was good too. There's a lot of Rush references, which I love Rush, and there's a lot of great 80s, 80s trivia in the movie. Definitely, it was
a lot of Dungeons and Dragons too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that green devil face is, in the movie.
Yes, from one of our favorites of all time, right? One of the nastiest of all time. All right, so the book is great, DM. I agree 100%. Here's what I like to do tonight. Leonard, when we get to about 15 minutes before you have to go, then we'll announce the contest. How's that sound? Sound good?
That's fine.
Okay, cool. All right. We're gonna have some.
I thought we were doing the contest on Wednesday, but that's okay.
Oh, we can announce it. Oh, you want to announce it Wednesday? We can do it Wednesday.
Yeah, because you've shown a couple of pictures I've seen.
Yeah, all right. It'll be a teaser. How's that sound?
There you go.
We'll do a teaser tonight.
When I tried to do the last one, I just asked for too much.
Yeah, but that's
everyone
okay.
Went, what the hell does he want?
Absolutely.
At any rate, I'm trying to get Stefan to come on.
Yes.
Stefan Picorni. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I'm trying to get him to sign on.
Well, that would be awesome, and if it happens, great. So I'm not sure if he's going to be thrilled with my latest sponsor then. He'll see why. Because we took a plunge here, and I think it was I'm happy. I'm extremely happy with this company, and we're going to. Who's contributing to the Cannon Fire Nation tour? What's David? That's funny. I've already done it, David. I got 4 more to go, but Altamira's in now, so we had that discussion. All right. Let's go round table. I have a pile here, and I want everyone to pick one, and then we'll go back to it and decide and talk about it. So, Jason, pick one that you want to talk about.
I just posted. I'm reposting some old stuff onto Cannon Fire.
Yep.
And so one of the things I just posted recently was about Origins 1, the Tomb of Horrors. When they ran that originally at Origins 1, it was a review from Alarms and Excursions by Mark Swanson, who was a big name in that. They call them APAs back then. They're really kind of like an early internet zine.
Right.
And it was it was a very sour experience with that first run through of Tomb of Horrors back at the very first Origins. And so it covers a lot of things about about Tomb of Horrors, good and bad. So I'd like to talk about that.
Well, that's what we'll do, that one first, and then Anna, how about you?
Well, this is not. I was just going to say that I don't really belong in this this thing, but right now I have a Return to the White Plume Mountain is high on my list to read, and also the
All right.
Exactly.
So Oh, let me get those out.
Yep.
We're going to get both of them out.
Yeah, because that will be. I need to go through them because they will be part of my. I will be influenced by them in my next campaign. My Shieldlands campaign will play out in that area. So
That's
I need
wonderful.
to have some. Yep. So they will. So I've studied them a little bit, the first one, and now I need to study the return as well. And I also want to dig into Eric Mona Paiso's campaign set in Alhaster too.
Okay.
Yep.
So there we go. We have those out, and well, it is Deep Dwarven Delve is in the box, absolutely. So, Len, are we gonna go in depth on L1 and L2, or do you want to talk about giants, or you want to talk about something else? What would you like to discuss?
Well, the module that I always liked visually, because I thought it was one of the first ones that did 3-dimension, was Ravenloft.
Oh,
they had some very nice drawings in there.
Oh yes, yes, and that's in here too. All right,
Yeah,
so
I'm interested because that uses a different type of mapping system for Ravenloft. I'm not sure if that's the first time they did that.
I think so.
With a kind of 3-dimensional look to the.
Yeah, it was the first one I saw. Now, whether someone else did it prior to that, that's the whole thing with Dungeons and Dragons. You do something you think is original, and 7 people have done it before you have. It goes like that.
Well, that's true. That's true. I don't recall it being anywhere else. So from Len, see, I got your stuff up. It's ready to be blown up and all.
Yeah, that's the one we're going to do the contest.
Okay,
now.
Perfect. So for me,
I could actually, I'm going to go get the piece and bring it in.
Yeah, that would be awesome, Len. That'd be really cool. I am going to go off the board. So thanks, Mike. I had to pull this one off my wall because I only got one copy. And I want to talk about this when I was a kid. Hidden Shrine of Tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go about the first competition series module that they put out. So that gives us a good listing. And then, Mike, thanks. You're going to love... You probably have already checked the site out because I told you ahead of time. So just so everyone knows, as we're getting people on, we got a 3D printer file company sponsor, okay? And I'm going to show some stuff in little bits, and they're awesome. All right, so and we'll talk about that at some point when Leonard goes off, I think. And we also thanks, Phantom. My gosh, I looked at the list and I lost like 8 subs today. I was like, oh my god! So we're almost all back there already. Phantom, thanks. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Greg. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. This is it's an honor to be doing this. I missed being gone a week. I missed it. I really did. Now I had fun time with my son, but I missed it. And we had a great Greyhawk Kids game last night. That was awesome. So the Gnarlyman rode again. So really, yes. They all expired today. So it was really bizarre. But thank you. Yeah, everyone's getting those Michael Baton gold swords. And look at this. All right, our 4th guest is just hopping on now, and he's at work. Carlos.
Hi, Carlos.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing?
Good. Len ran to get something. So I know what you want to talk about. We all picked one that everyone wants to talk about. I know Carlos is right here. There you go.
Yep,
I got him for you. So what do you think you got? 15 minutes? 20 minutes?
15, about 15, yeah.
All right. So oh, look at that. There you go.
Oh yeah.
Len's contest. All right. Yep. So Carlos has got 15 minutes. So let's go right to these two.
Okay.
Shokanth is like the oldest one of the oldest modules ever. Go ahead, Carlos. How old is this?
Oh no! Go ahead. It was originally released by early, very it was a module that was released at that point in time. It was it's got a little bit of everything for me. Perrinland is my favorite stomping grounds, and as a player, and in the Flyness, and I always loved it in part because I was very aware early that Gygax had was Swiss, and I realized that Perrinland had a Swiss kind of a vibe to it, according to Gary. So I thought, well, this is going to be especially interesting. So it always really captured Perrinland always captured my attention, and at that point in time when it first came out, I remember, we didn't have all the resources we have right now. Okay, yeah. So things like Igualiv and Socanth and these were just names that he just drops these things and you want to know more about them through the context of what you're reading. And so it was really, really compelling to me in a lot of ways.
And it's the first module that you or I can remember that had 2 books in it.
It is. I remember being a 12-year-old boy when I first got that. Boy, did it blow my little 12-year-old mind because there was so much new stuff in there, all the new demon lords and the magic items. And it has artifacts left, right, and center. It blew me away when I read it for the first time because it was, you're hung at that point. We were starving for new material. At least I was as a gamer and as a DM, and seeing all this new stuff all at once, it really revolutionized the way that I kind of thought about the game, and it gave me so much more material with which to work. I just loved it. I couldn't get in. So Cancel, I remember vividly getting it during the winter, laying on my chest in the living room of my house in front of the fireplace, reading this as a young boy, and just my eyes are almost blown out of my head reading it.
So I want people to understand, and this was like the 21st or 22nd in the top 30. That's bullshit. All right, and Carlos and I both agree 100% on that. Yeah, look, I even got Lynn to smile.
It's my number one.
Yeah, it's like my number 2. Yeah,
I become aware that there's a lot of people who don't really enjoy it. They don't think it really works very well as a module, and that's perfectly valid. Anybody. I don't like to quibble with people's personal opinions about what they think is good or worthy or whatever. Because there's no accounting for taste. But for me personally, that's my number one, and especially when it's joined together with the other module that you had up, which is WG4.
So some things about this that get knocked. Jason, what do you think? A couple things that gets knocked for.
I know what I don't like about it, and it's generally, I think it's a higher level module than I normally run.
Okay.
I strongly dislike some of the. I believe it has wishes and genies and stuff in it, and not my taste. Not something I actually allow in my own campaigns. So I found it a wonderful resource. But I didn't find it to my taste as what I would run as a least in that form to me.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly valid criticism.
You're real low, Carlos.
I think that's a perfectly valid criticism of it.
You went way down. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's a perfectly valid criticism of it, and I think that there's when you see a module like that, you judge it on 2 levels. You judge it aesthetically as far as how you think it's designed and its use as a resource. Then you judge it as an actual adventure itself. Yeah. And if it fails for one part of that for you, I think that's perfectly legitimate.
Some of the knocks on this are it's disjointed. Well, a lot of the modules back in those days are disjointed, right? It was an advertisement for Monster Manual 2. I don't really care that it was an advertisement for Monster Manual 2. I love the stuff in here. Like the Behir. The Behir's an awesome monster.
Right.
It has one of the most iconic and beautiful artwork in it with Drell's.
Yeah.
It's
the artwork's beautiful.
It has artifacts in it, minor artifacts in it that are, it's just. Len, did you ever sniff around on this one? Shokanth.
Which one is it?
Lost Caverns of Shokanth.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You can make entire dungeons out of the letter G using the monsters with the start with G.
Oh my gosh! Giant,
yes.
Golem,
G also.
Knowles, yeah.
Yeah, huge amount.
I would also point out something about Shokanth I think is important. One of the things that I think it gets left behind in it. as far as dungeons that are open-ended, it has almost infinite replayability because of its point as a planar access. One of the, I think only maybe Demon Web Pits, which to me is a failure of a module.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a failure of a module. Demon Web Pits is because it's just, aesthetically, I don't really appreciate it as much as I think a lot of people do. But because it's got those demi planes in it that you can reach, I think that's got a very open-ended feel to it, and that's probably the best thing about Demon Web Pits to me. Well, you've got the same thing going with SoCanth, where you can reach right through the Hall of Pentacles, you can go to different planes and things like that. I think that's as a jumping off point. SoCanth is very good for that as well, and I think that kind of gets forgotten about that module sometimes.
Yeah, so Gribbly, I want to distinguish what we're doing here tonight. We're not talking about the best modules. We're talking about the most iconic that affected Greyhawk and the campaign, the whole world. And what I say about this one is the following. It had a search area, kind of like D3 does, but above, which is huge. So you can do outdoor venturing for multiple sessions before you even get there. It has a lot of encounters in here, elven war bands, hobgoblin war parties, stone giants, and even a dragon as an encounter that you can run into outside. Just, I don't know. And
as far as affecting the Greyhawk campaign, though, Jay, I mean, you can almost begin and end with Igwaliv. I mean, her involvement in that. I mean, if there's besides Ayuz, is there really more iconic of a Greyhawk villain out there?
Vecna, maybe.
I mean, I think you could argue, maybe a Klavdra or Obi or somebody like that, but she's certainly one of the top 10. And her involvement in that and her establishment for background as a character, that right there, I mean, it affects profoundly the Greyhawk campaign.
Now, we link into this one, and here's the amazing thing that Carlos brought to me, which is genius. Carlos, you made this a prequel, not a sequel, correct?
It is. For me, it is a prequel.
Okay. It's kind of like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It happened 2 years before the first movie.
Yeah, it is a prequel. Now, every single time I have run that module, it goes into 2 stages. And I almost think that Gygax designed it this way. I think that for me, every single time people go to that temple, it turns into an all-out brawl in front of it between the giant and
mountain
forces.
Giant.
Yeah, and then after that, it's the whole Cthulhu-esque Lovecraftian kind of delve into that weird, which is for me the best part of that module. That module has so much atmosphere, it's beyond belief. But as far as affecting the Greyhawk campaign, Thorisden. I mean, that's really all you have to say about it. I mean, he's such a, and I know he's played out in a lot of regards. But back when this came out, he sure wasn't, and that is he's such a staple of the Greyhawk campaign.
Yeah, he's the Sauron of Greyhawk in a way,
right? And to establish him like that, I think that module is hugely important.
Here's a weird thing. Monster Manual 2 monsters, Fiend Folio monsters, like Norkers are in here.
Yeah.
Mountain Giant, right?
Well, there's a reason for that, though, Jay, too. I mean, remember that much like the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, where there was an actual mandate that they put Fiend Folio monsters in there. That's why you see Bullywugs and Shadow Demons and things like that in there. That was a very deliberate part of that design to sell copies of the Fiend Folio.
Okay. So, wait a minute. This came out they're both 82. Mm-hmm. This came out first, though, didn't it?
It did come out first.
Okay.
It did come out first.
All right. Well, that's a good...
you will notice that the gnome community is in both.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And they're a major... a resource for your characters in both campaigns because they kind of provide an allied base for you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And there's a large fighting force in that gnome community. One of them is a little more developed on the gnome community than the other. So I think you can see in the Tharisden module that they've added some names and such for the gnome leader and the community.
Right.
Um,
Well, I like them both. I've always run Shokanth before Tharisden, but just because that was the way, I always thought it was supposed to be done. But I would like to, if I ever do them again, I'd probably run this first.
It's interesting. I mean, there's a lot to like about running the one before the other. Like Jason said, the gnome community is a little bit more developed, and I feel like if you don't, I've seen that module run a couple times without the gnome community's involvement, and some of the raison d'etre breaks down a little bit. Some of the vibe of it breaks down. I feel like I think Jason is really hit on an important theme there. That without that, you lose a real important part of that module.
Okay. If you've never done this, it's very easy to permanently die in this.
Oh yeah, that's a killer. Yeah.
But there's also one of the few places too. If your characters are looking for something like this, it's also one of the few places you can raise primary attributes.
Yes. Rob, they're both awesome together. They were ranked 21 and 22 on the list. I think that they should be way lower. Much lower than this than this. Okay, so Carlos, you missed when I was balancing this thing. Number 8.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of that.
Oh.
I'm one of those people. I'm not a huge Temple of Elemental Evil guy to begin with, and that module, the return is really it's ugly. I don't like that one very much at all.
Cool. Well,
that being said, though, don't get me wrong. There's a few design elements in there that I think are really cool. But by the same token, it's not my favorite.
Well, Carlos, whenever you got to bail, it's okay. Thanks, man.
I'm going to have to do it soon, but I do want to make a nice segue. I want to talk about, since he's here right now with us, I want to talk about my favorite Len Lakofka module.
Let's do it.
I want to talk about Assassin's Knot.
Well, that's okay? Number 29 of all time, and it's right up on the screen right now. Let's do it.
Yeah, I want to talk about Assassin's Knot.
Let's do it.
And this is, and I have not come to bury Len, but to praise him. I've seen a lot of people try to do murder mystery and mystery kind of modules. And when I decided that for Castle Entertainment, when I wanted to write one, I thought to myself, what's the most effective one I've ever seen so I can use it as a template? That is by far the most effective, in my opinion, mystery module I've ever seen. I thought that you did a great job with that, Len. The vibe of the city is awesome. I think that the characters are awesome. I in particular, every single time I've run it, the priest that takes them out on the fishing trip as a distraction is such a blast, that encounter. There's so much that I like about that. The Cloak of Etherealness idea as the implement of the murder, I think it's just great. There's so much I like about that module, and I think for me, if you guys are studying a good way to write and craft a module that has elements of murder and mystery in it, that is a great starting place for DMs to look at and to form a style. It certainly informed my own style.
Some great things in it.
Yeah, I wanted to say about the L1 and L2 modules is that there are so many modules that are written in a static form that read well, but don't necessarily play well.
Right.
And what L1 and L2 did was they created, they're an example of an actual usable module for playing. You break in, especially like you're pointing out with L2, is that it covers a lot of the basics and gives you a lot of examples of kinetic play where you're having actions that aren't just locked into one segment of time. They are not. They are. They're a real good example of play, so that you can put the module down. You get a lot of the information you need that isn't that's overlooked in a lot of module design. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And the idea that you have actions going on that are not locked to just one, like most modules take like a single camera view of what the adventure is about, and that they don't survive contact with your players,
Right.
or else they don't provide you with the some of the most helpful information. That if you're going to go the module route and not be writing your own, L2 gives you a lot of the basic information you need, whereas a lot of other modules, including one of my favorites, Hamlet, Hamlet is again one of the more where you have to do a lot of do your own design.
Right.
In the simple fact that none of the villages are named.
Yeah. As a writer too, I guess I just, they always say that brevity is the soul of wit, and I think that there's a certain elegance to the way that the L2 is written that I also appreciate. It's it shows that you can be spare with description and word, and yet convey exactly what you want across. Like I said, for me, Len, that's my favorite thing you've ever done. I think it's just it's a masterclass in design. And if you look at my module C10, Who Sits Upon the Oaken Throne, I actually you're in the credits for that, because it was so important to me.
That's awesome.
And it was so formative on the way that module ended up coming out.
Now, am I right in that these were not tournament conversions?
They're not tournaments.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got to go.
Carlos, thanks, man.
Hey, no problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on and chatting while you could.
For having me.
Yeah. Right, have a good one, Carlos. Thank you.
Yeah, Carlos.
Carlos is at work here. All right, so
bye-bye.
See, what were you going to say? Len, that was some high praise from Carlos and Jason. That was really awesome.
L2 is an example of a module where the DM has to read the whole damn thing.
Oh, yeah.
From beginning to end before he plays it. Because if he just starts playing it based on what door they walk into, he's going to lose it. You've got to know the DM really has to know the big picture to play that module.
Yeah, you can't linear do this. You cannot. There's so much going on in it. So some little details in this, and then we'll move on. No one does this but Len. Dual class human, one of the Assassin's Guild, Tellish, dual class male cleric assassin, brilliant. Right in the rules. I love dual class humans. It's right in there. Done. The detail on the castle guard list. I mean, look at that. That's all the castle guard list right there. And they're all named. So if they want to bribe someone or work, the names are there. So, and then the storyline is pretty. This can go really bad for a group.
Oh yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah. When my players actually did it, they damn near killed Andrella.
Which is
almost.
Which would be
Mom and Dad got assassinated, but they didn't quite catch up with her.
And Anna knows it pretty well because of all the map work you've done there.
Well, I've read it, but now it's like 10 years since I read it, so I need to read it again. Yeah.
Definitely is a worthwhile undertaking with this, and like I said, it was 29 out of 30. I think it should be higher. I'll say this: it was one away from getting on our wall of fame based on our. I have L1 on our wall because I love Bone Hill too. I mean, I love it. I do. I love it. It's as David Leonard said. It's really the first sandbox adventure. There's a lot to do in it. There's a lot of subplots. There's a lot going on.
I updated L1 and put in all the stats for almost everything else.
Is that on Dragon's
One of those long spreadsheet things.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it posted anywhere?
Yeah, maybe.
I know we have the Restonford town. Towns based on years.
Correct, Restonford town.
Right. Yeah, we have all. Yes. Okay, I have all 3 years.
Yeah, that's all updated because a lot of the guys who were second level or lower weren't detailed, and I decided to go in and detail all of that too.
Well,
it says it's an obsessive compulsive disorder. What can I tell you?
There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, from a fellow sufferer, I understand you. Yep.
Yeah, there's not a thing wrong with that. Jason!
That's awesome. Yep.
All right, so I didn't pull my pastel one off the Wall of Fame.
Sure, yeah.
This second one here. Tomb of Horrors,
Now,
vast swamp.
by the way, did you ever get the big, it was that big book about Dungeons and Dragons, big hardcover that came out that included the original Tomb of Horrors booklet inside of it?
Nope.
Oh, see, that's a very interesting little thing. Now, I don't know, Len, when did you start? Did you ever go to Origins 1 where they were running the first Tomb of Horrors?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I got to an Origins. Maybe I got to one.
Okay.
I went to something in Baltimore and something in Portland, Maine, but I don't think either one of them were an Origin.
No,
Baltimore might have been. Maybe.
That first one I think was out of Ohio.
Well,
maybe, but anyway, that was the very first time they ran Tomb of Horrors, it's back then. It was everything was new, and that first tournament version was absolutely brutal. They were running. It was the very early wood grain booklets. The little brown booklet, Dungeons and Dragons, and they were running about 11 or 12 or 13 players at a convention through it. And, from everybody knows Tomb of Horrors, what a meat grinder it is.
Yeah.
And it was just, it was an absolutely horrendous meat grinder. A lot of the people for the one guy who went through it, this Mark Swanson, had never played before. So their introduction to Dungeons and Dragons was Tomb of Horrors.
Oh God!
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
That's
that's
the
not a
whole
good-
idea
yeah.
of the adventure is
That
to
would-
kill characters.
Yeah, so there you go. There it is. The iconic picture right there on the dungeon cover.
Yes. Well, I mean, Tomb of Horrors for me, it's not the adventure itself. Now I've run people through it as a one shot because it is such a killer dungeon, and you can make these incredibly stupid terminal mistakes like jumping through the green devil face, where it's or falling through the happy fun slide down into the lake of lava, I believe that is. It is just such a tremendous, but it is so filled with good ideas that, and the illustrations are wonderful. So that the adventure itself is rich with ideas, and as a one shot, it's tremendously fun to play if you don't put people up with characters they're invested in. They come up with pre-gen characters, and just very happy to see high level and henchmen fall to the wayside there, left and right. I just I love the adventure, but not as a serious adventure.
So here's my question. Is this the first module that did these? See picture 1, see picture 2. The descriptions, go to this picture, show it. Is this the first? I know Tomoe-con and this, which is up, are close. But
yeah, the tournament had basic versions of that, but they weren't as later on it became much more polished. So but my first interaction was the published module, not the tournament, and I absolutely adored it. I mean, as much as I would never put it in as something for my regular players to encounter with their regular characters, beside the fact that I never ran that high level of game, it just provided me with wonderful ideas and the kind of things I wanted to get out of the Greyhawk campaign.
So, as far as Asarak, right, coming out and becoming a named character from Tomb of Horrors and all, this one is more. What effect did it have on Greyhawk? I think it set the bar for really nasty tournament modules, is my opinion. That's what I mean. That's
but it had more effect on gameplay than the setting per se.
That's true. That's absolutely
more kind of the mechanics, what you could do with it.
I think this is number 3 or 4 of all time by the ranking. So, Len, would you ever delve into this at all?
Not that one, no.
Okay.
Well, same here. I never ran it. Never used it.
I don't think many people would ever want to run it as connected to their campaign. It's a campaign destroyer because there's too much unavoidable instant death that's around every corner, and it would be very sad for the invested characters to go in the way that they go in that tournament. It's really a one-shot kind of thing, but I think besides setting it as gameplay, the visuals and everything, I think they really add a sense of the quality, a certain feel and look. The actual final encounters are taken right from Fritz Lieber's Fearford and Mauser Longmar stuff. So it really is part of, I think, some of the fantasy atmosphere that Gygax liked wanted to include in Greyhawk, and maybe some of the things he was inspired by. It is, in a sense, it's kind of a Lieber-esque dungeon, and in the way that the city of Greyhawk's a bit of a Lieber-esque city. So I think it does have a strong influence on the setting in its way, as well as the kind of gameplay that you can maybe expect from some of the more heavy-handed.
One final note on Tomb of Horrors. Oh, thank you, John. There is an adventure in a dungeon, and please, I know David or someone else will link it, called the Mud Sorcerer's Tomb. It's an ode to Tomb of Horrors, and that's almost as nasty as Tomb of Horrors. So someone can link the dungeon that's in, and it's an ode to Tomb of Horrors, and it's another nasty one called Mud Sorcerer's Tomb, and I've run that. So here, before Len's got to go, Len, let's talk about the one you wanted to discuss, which a lot of people say is not in Greyhawk. Well, I say it is.
Well, it can be anywhere, really.
Yeah, is Ravenloft. So
the thing I liked about Ravenloft was the drawings, the three-dimensional stuff. I thought that was innovative. It was the first time I've seen it. This kind of stuff.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. You have the map. You have. I think I got the 25th.
Did any of you guys ever play in Bob Blake's tournaments that he ran at Gen Con?
No, my first.
Because I think he did the one with the Gith Yankee and the Gith Ziri in it.
Oh.
That was run as a tournament.
Wow.
And I think we started with 32 teams. 32 teams, by God. And we went all the way down to the final team. But Blake had some great stuff.
Thank you, David. I knew you'd be the man there linking it. Issue 37 is Mud Sorcerer's Tomb from previous. Yep, good. Excellent.
Oh, I have this here. Let me show you this thing.
Yep. Before you got to go. All right, so Leonard's going to talk about this on Wednesday before we get
in more detail.
Hardcore into showing down below as well. He's got Len, man, that's pretty impressive.
It's got a lot of crap in it. Really
yeah. That's cool.
But what I'm trying to do is get them to do a what is it, who's in it, what's its purpose, that kind of thing. And that's the quiz I want to do for them.
One of the coolest Lego models I've seen ever.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Definitely. Yeah. We will. I'll keep it scrolling here. We'll keep that going for, and we'll do that on Wednesday night. Absolutely as well. Go ahead, Len. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead. You gonna say something, Len? Okay. Let's not worry about the gypsy connotations in here. Okay.
No, you skip that for now.
I love the fortune teller at the beginning of this. Okay, and it actually had the card decks connected. I love. There are so many vampires in this, and this is this adventure for levels 6 to 8 characters, level 5 to 7. This is another group killer adventure early on. Because of now with my Undead Hunter, maybe it's a little bit more easy, but it's the Hickmans. This was brilliant when it came out. place it wherever you so choose in Greyhawk, and don't worry about the Ravenloft subsetting. It's a vampire story, right? It doesn't, it was so successful they made its own setting out of it, right? That's the way you got to look at it. So
Yes, and it's very small key, so that the Greyhawk is the Flyness is such a big setting, and there's so little detail from the original material that Ravenloft, as this barony, you could place it so many different places. It's just a small little portion of the land that really it fits in anywhere.
I believe when I ran this, I put it on the Valuna Grand March border. I think that's where I placed it, on like where the Lort Mills come up to it, right?
Yeah.
That spot. I think that's
I used it as an inspiration for Black Splinter in my Rel Devin campaign. Yeah,
nice.
with the Prince Ferdinand and Shadwell is
Love that picture.
Yeah, so I read through
Clive
it.
Caldwell,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and had some used it a lot of the vampire as an inspiration. I didn't steal any ideas outright from it because I knew that a lot of my players had played it and they knew about it, so I had to tweak it. But it was one of the best inspirations to create your own kind of version of a vampire thing. So yeah.
So Wu-Tang.
What did you think? Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say Wu-Tang played it through it in Geoff, and we're going to have the Geoff people back on Wednesday, guys.
Oh, cool.
Geoff in Depth is coming Wednesday with new triads joining us. So I just wanted to let you guys throw that out there. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just asking Anna what she thought of that mapping style. It's the earliest example that I can think of, but they later went for it in the atlases, like Dragonlance Atlas, Forgotten Realms, the 3-dimensional style.
I really love it, and it's been on my inspiration lists ever since it came out. I've seen better examples of isometric than that, but since it was the first one, they really set a new trend, and it's been used in adventures ever since. And I bet that Virtual Tabletop Tools is going to get into that soon. They're only top down so far, but they will get into 3D fairly soon. And they will take inspiration from it, and it's an awesome first try on it. And there have been some better ones afterwards, but they started the trend for sure.
Rob, I need a shout out for you. I apologize, man. Just so many people are. I got to do that. Just I will have it up by Wednesday. I promise. Okay. I really need a shout out for your channel. So Len, I know you got about 8 minutes. So because you got to go, you want to talk about another module? Anything else you want to talk about before you go?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. What else is on your mind? Gotta have some good stuff on your mind. Yes. You've been throwing out a lot of stuff out there in the emails, which is cool. Why don't you tell just talk about some of the things you're working on. You're working on a couple things.
The last thing I just did was taking the magic user intelligence scores and making them more realistic, I think. I always hate looking at anything in D&D that says, if you're between 9th level and 12th level, this is what happens. Well, there should be a 9th, a 10th, 11th, and a 12th. Each one of them should have its own identity. So whenever I see that, I always subdivide it.
Okay.
And I just did a spreadsheet on that I think I sent to you.
I have it, absolutely.
And so I took the spells, because one of the things we did, Gygax and I, is when he was getting ready to do, was it UA maybe?
Archer
Anyway, he had 29 spells here and 31 spells there. And I said, well, wait a minute, let's make this a diceable thing. So I'll add the extra 3 spells or the extra 4 spells or the extra 5 spells, whatever it is, to make it come out 30, 30, 24, that kind of deal. That you could do it that way. But then ultimately, you want to do it by percentile, but then you have to sit down and do that.
Right.
So that it isn't, because let's face it, if you're looking at a list of spells, there are spells that you don't give a rat's ass about, and there are others that are crucial.
Yep.
Light detect magic, magic missile, sleep. You need those. You desperately
Sleep
need those. Do
especially.
you need
For
a
sleep.
race? Do you need? No, you don't need a race. It might be nice to have, but it's not important. It's just not important. So what I did is I took that list of 40 spells from, I think it's UA, and I broke it down percentage wise. And it's my guess as well as anybody else's guess. I mean, you can do whatever you want to it. You just have to, if you make one change, then you've got to change everything else after it.
Yeah.
To make it reflect the fact that, well, I've added 2% in here, so now you've got to find that 2% somewhere and take it away. But I've always enjoyed doing that kind of thing.
Well, and I appreciate it too, because I always the min max on spells I thought was too low.
Yes.
On the min, yeah, definitely. But I prorated out the table because we added a lot of the third-party spells in, so I made it. Instead of all, I put 30 down because we got all these.
All doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
at all.
It doesn't make any sense
because there's so many spells out there and so many things.
Yeah,
many modules introduce a spell, and they're very, like when I write up characters, I will put in a magic item that I haven't seen before. Now, as I've said to you many times, it doesn't mean that somebody hasn't already thought of it. But to my knowledge, it didn't exist. So I put it down as if, well, I haven't seen it before, so here it is. But I like to do that. I like to do new spells and new magic items, or just give a magic item a set of different properties. The thing I always hated was people who get, a staff of power, and they'd hear two things, and they go, I know all the things it does.
Yeah.
No, stop that. Stop that. I'm going to slap you in the face. Stop.
So John asked, give him an example of Leonard's subdivision of spell effects. Just one example of what you're talking about. John, I'll send you the list too. John's a fellow streamer, Blue Box. One example, Leonard, that you have in that division of spell effects. Like what you did, you prorated out stuff in that list that you did. An example.
Oh, you mean of intelligence?
Yes.
Or
yeah, the spell effects changed from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We made them one each.
Right. I spread it all out and said that the min and max, I've always said to my players, if you're going to play a magic user and he's got an intelligence of less than 16, you're playing in the wrong game. You need that 10% bonus to earned experience. You really, really, really do. Because the first level magic user, he has to live to second level, to live to third level, to live to 4. And it's really, 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 really hard. Once he starts getting fireballs and lightning bolts and dimension doors, he can actually start doing something. But first, second, and third level guys are just, it's a miracle they live. It really is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is, and it's a thing though. It's part of the game too, right? So a lot of us are have it where we help them out early on. I always make sure I try one mage and the party has sleep, because if you don't, and you get overwhelmed by kobolds are deadly at first level. You know what I mean? So that sleep spell's kind of vital at that point. But I don't want to have two of them with sleep. I don't want to overdo it, but I want to make sure that one of them has sleep in the spell book.
What I like is when you do a dual class, or not a dual class, a multi-class character. So a half elf or something, or part elf, as I like to call them. Mm-hmm. When you do one of them, you should do them as touching. So magic user thief, for example, thief cleric fighter, as opposed to magic user fighter. Because if you have a magic user thief, he can bring his armor along with him. He can take it off and put it on. And of course, what you're looking for with a magic user thief is you want to find bracers of defense somewhere.
Oh yeah,
you really, really do. Or get a ring +1 or a ring +2 or something like that.
Well, elves can technically in leather armor cast spells according to first edition anyway. Mage.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I know you don't like it, but that's probably,
No. Well, rules is written are rules is written. What can I tell
you? Yeah.
you?
See,
But
Len didn't agree with Gary 100% of the time, guys
oh
and
no,
gals. Yeah.
no. We had some slam dunk arguments now. Well, not arguments, discussion. We were always very civil with him.
Well, that's a great thing, and I know. I just talking every time you bring up a Gary story like that, it's awesome just to see a reference that, like, Gary was not infallible, and that you don't like that the mages of elven mages can cast an armor. Now I've limited it to chainmail max. I don't like the no plate mail casting. So I went elven chain is okay because it's that special kind of some kind of properties.
Well, it's the case of the elven and dwarven craftsmen do things that are very close to being magic if they don't detect as magic.
Right.
But they do have their own special things made out of cloth or leather, or because you've got elven boots, you've got a cloak of elven kind. Clearly, those aren't made out of any special materials. I've always emphasized to people that when you're going to build a magic item, you've got to have top quality stuff. It can't be a piece of crap and say, oh, now I'm going to call it magic. No, I'm against that. And I have to dash.
Well, thanks for a great discussion tonight, Len. We'll see you
wonderful.
Wednesday night.
Talking to you again.
Okay, and now I'll see if I can get some pictures of this thing where I'm walking around it.
Yeah.
So we have a 3D thing.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect.
All right.
See you, Len. See you Wednesday.
Okay. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So, Len had some great insights tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, LexFire22. Thank you so very much. I'm going to answer Wiley's question. We're going to go to this, then we'll do mine. Keep on the Borderlands, basic adventure. Anna, where did you place it on Anna's map there, Wiley?
I placed it in the southwest of Yeomanry. It's the Kendall Keep. It's one of the it's not mentioned in the first version of it, but it returned to Borderlands Keep. It's mentioned, listed as one of the locations in Greyhawk where you can put it. The first version doesn't even mention Greyhawk or anything, if I remember correctly. So I went on the return to Borderlands to the Keep of the Borderlands, and it's named the Kendall Keep, and it's in Yeomanry down there on the borders, on the very southwest end of the Flannies, so to speak.
I think I have it on the map, and I'm going to try and show it to you. All right, I've seen it in Rotic. I've seen it in Bone March as well.
Oh,
I think David Leonard has it in Rotic, right?
Yeah, there's many different versions. So that's why, and I named it the Kendall Keep because that's the name in the adventure. So you can kind of slip it in and change the name of it and slip it in somewhere, or you can adjust my map and simply rename the Kendall Keep into something else and put Kendall Keep somewhere else.
Jason, what do you think? Is it okay where Anna placed it?
For me, what I've done with it is it is a template keep. The English had built a series of castles along the Welsh border at one point, and they were all basically the same design. And so the keep on the Borderlands, I use from the Yeomanry all up the mountain range there. There's several of them that are used in Geoff that were lost during the wars and with the giants, and I had had them over in the around the Bandit Kingdoms, where a lot of the fortresses designed in that area had been based on that. And recently, I've been getting into Bone March, so I can definitely see it over in the Bone March, especially the campaign as designed. Now, I want to point out there is a Jolly Blackburn of Kenzerco and Knights of the Dinner Table. He did his own version called Little Keep on the Borderland, and I think it's probably the best redesign of the keep that I've seen. It's not a farce. There's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's a really interesting redesign of the B2 module, and I would say I think it's probably the best redesign of it. I know they did return to Keep on the Borderland, which I didn't really care for, But that module itself is very iconic. It's a very Greyhawk. It's a really Greyhawk adventure because I think so many people have placed it in Greyhawk, but I use it all over the place.
So no problem, John. I know you got a roll. I know you got a lot going on. You had a really great game today.
Yeah.
Jason's right. This is a template. Set it up anywhere you want. It's a great adventure for beginners. Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me just swing down the Yeomanry and see if it's on my Yeomanry map. And guess what? I'm on Gabbin, so I don't think I don't think I have it in here. I have all the. Oh, here we go. Geoff should coming down.
Just
Yeomanry
there
next
you
one.
go. Yeah,
Oh,
it's on there.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
on
you missed
Yeomanry.
it. You have to
All
go
right.
back.
Duh.
Back one.
I hear. You know what?
Slow. Stop.
Next one.
Next
There we
one.
go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
It's on
So
there.
it is Dark Gate. All right. You look down the lower left-hand corner, Wiley.
North
Dark
of
Gate.
the Dark Gate.
North
Yep.
of Dark Gate in the lower left-hand corner.
Yep. And one of the reasons I put it there is that the surrounding terrain fairly well matches the surrounding terrain in the module.
Yep.
Because there's like the other caves and a whole bunch of other stuff there. So the surrounding area matches the B2 map fairly well as well.
Thank you, Stolak. Thank you so very much, man. Really appreciate everyone's support tonight. It's been awesome. I missed everyone that 1 week. Even though I hopped on Discord occasionally. You know, running reruns just doesn't cut it, you know. So hopefully that answers your question, Wiley. It is a great topic of discussion, and it would just definitely, I forget what number it was, but it was in the middle somewhere of the pack, greatest of all time.
Now it's more than one adventure if you use it as a template. You can have it in ruins. You can have it inhabited by monsters. You can have it bandits have taken it over. It can be a haunted keep, or it can be an active keep. It can be a series of them. So that, you know, like you might have an adventure that takes you across the borderlands from one of these keeps to another. It's as long as you want to just use the keep, you can keep altering it. I will say that, you know, it does require something a little more. If you're going to use the whole thing with the monster adventure portion of it, that you have to figure out a little more where it fits into your setting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But nice. Thank you for that hype cheering, everyone. That was awesome. Choo choo. Definitely was a great. I mean, out of far the basics. I know people love Isle of Dread, but I'm sorry. B2 is for me the best basic one. Isle of Dread's great as an expert. I know Castle Amber is on that list. That's ahead of Isle of Dread, which I was shocked.
Castle Amber, I'm a big fan of Clark Ashton Smith.
Okay.
And Castle Amber is based on his French Aveyron series of stories. It's really, I think it fits into Greyhawk, but it's a little more. I just think it requires a little more work, Castle Amber, to set into Greyhawk, whereas B2 just fits right in wherever you want to use it.
Very cool. So guess what, guys? That hype train broke my shout-outs. So we're gonna be my shout-outs aren't working. The hype. So I guess that's a bug. Now we know why they go out. I get a hype train, I lose my shout-outs. But uh-oh. So I'm going to have to do everything by throwing banners up. Yeah. Imagine that. Yeah, so my Stream Deck is not working now. I'm going to have to report that.
Now we see your wall of
yes.
glory there.
My wall of fame based on my campaign. Yep.
Now, how do you judge that by is it just all of them are just up there, or do you have you put them up there by your favorites, like is the top row the best?
No, we put them up there in the order that we did. So we did 12, then we did another 6, then we did another 6.
So is that your players get to vote?
We actually have a Gabbin. Gabbin number 8 or 9 is on this topic. Can someone look that up for me, please, and link that? Go to YouTube. We're looking at Wall of Fame. I think it's Gabbin. Oh God, it's 8 or 9.
Okay.
If someone would please do that, that would be great.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I'm going to talk about production quality low. Back in the day, this was before I even knew Anna and all, and it's all my guys, and we're just sitting there chatting about what we're going to put up. And what's really sad is, it's not sad. The last one was either going to be L2 or Ghost Tower, and Ghost Tower won out between the two for us. So, but that's okay. Let me go back to this Wall of Fame here. All right. Wait a minute. Let me go back again. I'm going to turn the scroller off for a second and just discuss this real quick. All right. So you have, here's our 24. So the way we did it was affecting our campaign, memorable adventures we reran, adventures that really everyone remembers. Like Ravenloft 2's on there, guys. I ran it one time. It's right next to Ravenloft, right in the middle, and it's the machine one. It has nothing to do with Ravenloft 1 at all. Okay, it was the toughest adventure I ever had to run. The module it's really difficult. But it's the first sighting of Azalin is in Ravenloft 2 on there. So I didn't expect to talk about that. Jason brought it up, but that's a great one. This one is the first module I ever played in.
Okay? Yeah.
It was Tomoacon, and this is that module on the wall. This is my only copy. Look at this. Look at how old that tape is on that book. You got marks on it like that. I didn't realize the book was separate for all the pictures in here. So when I was a kid, I learned a couple things. Number one, never follow a bouncing ball of light anywhere. Okay, I learned that's bad because I went into that sand pit trap and almost suffocated in there. Number two, if you see an axe sticking against a wall with a weird shadow, I know it's in here somewhere. Here it is. If you see an axe against a wall with it looks like a hand hook here with a shadow, don't grab it. Okay, so I learned that this is. Don't do anything. When you're 12 or 13 years old and you're playing this stuff, yes. Don't talk to this woman here. Just stay away.
Don't talk to any women.
Oh my gosh!
That end up in dungeons or out in the forest or something like that.
Well, this was.
And hold your ear. You put wax in your ears if they start to sing or something like that. Then you're in trouble.
Well, that's another tournament that converted to Greyhawk.
C1. Yep.
Yeah.
C1. This
and
go ahead, Jason.
Well, it's notable for a couple things. One, it actually uses, I believe, Central American deities
from the deities and demigods. Absolutely.
Yes, but it actually uses Earth deities rather than as close. I don't believe there's anything else in Greyhawk that uses a deity that is an actual religious. It was the
real religious
deity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and that was because it was not a Greyhawk tournament.
Right.
It was just a tournament, and when they did the conversion, they added a little material referencing Greyhawk, but it really was. It wasn't designed as a Greyhawk tournament, but when the module came out, they didn't alter the deities. So that is one of the locales that actually has Earth deities and Greyhawk deities as under the same names.
It's a lot. Back in the day, we found out a lot of things that were not off limits. Now, you know what I mean. I don't think they would do that now, running that kind of adventure.
Well, there's no reason to. I mean,
exactly.
You use things as an homage or an inspiration, and there's absolutely no reason to really bring
real life
any controversy into a fantasy setting like Greyhawk. Now, Gygax later around did Dangerous Journeys, which was an alternate Earth. Mm-hmm. That was Earth with AERTH, but Earth was actually a distorted version of our history here. So all the places there were places here. Just with a kind of like just a fantasy magical thing added onto it.
So getting back to the this point of what I like about this, and I know this is placed in this is a Medio, correct? This is a Medio jungle.
I think so.
Yeah. This is for 3 characters only, which makes it even more deadly. That's it. 3 characters, not 6. And that 4 not says 48 players. This is 3. 2. There is a point system that's very detailed back here. All right, that's the first time I was like, wow, that is really detailed. So it was really. Harold Johnson wrote this with Jeff Leeson. Josh Pop, Zarathon, and I have reached out to Harold to try and get him on a show, and he hasn't confirmed yet. Okay, so we're trying to. He also run one of the A series, correct? Adventures. Which one of the A series did he run? Right, A2.
Hang on a second, I have to look.
Tom Loveday, Alan Hammock. No, he didn't. I'm sorry, I got him confused. That's Alan Hammock. All right, but I've worked to try and get him on the show, and we'll see what happens with that.
Well, that'd be great.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite modules. It's a what it does is it is the source book for the Medio cultures.
Yeah.
So I always steal from popular fiction and a little bit of history, and so but C1 at the traps, the artwork of course is fantastic. I like the map. It's just such a that is an enjoyable adventure, and you don't have to follow the tournament requirements for it.
Right. You can do a 4A and I know I'm thinking it's Rise of the Rune Lords. I should have asked Eric Mona this. It pays homage to this. The very end of that, there's a pyramid half stuck out of the muck in a swamp that they got to go in, and that immediately reminded me of Tomoe Khan. I know that Eric Mona, if we get him back on the show, I'm going to ask him that question. I think it's almost identical to this.
Follow those Pathfinder adventures much?
No, but see, my buddy Dungeon Meister, who does pictures of all that stuff, he does the Pathfinder paths a lot. The one who does all the artwork that I use, the graphic images, and he had a big picture. I was like, oh my god, that's Tomoe Khan. So no, I don't follow him that much. That's my closest way to following them. I'm sorry, Anna, what were you gonna say?
No, it's okay. So I was just gonna say I've read them through but I haven't followed them really. But on the other hand, I haven't followed any of the adventures really. So they're just inspiration, and I'll talk about that a bit later.
Okay. So one last thing. These, if you want to do what I did, it's cheap. Those are very, very cheap 8x10, little, poster boards. I got at Michael's. And Michael's does sales all the time. I'm not trying to shout out any company, but you want to get those, you could get a whole row of those for like $15 to $20 if you have the right coupons. So it's not that expensive to do what I did, and then you get the monkey hooks into the wall, boom, and you're done, and it's set up. So and I got inspiration from my best friend as I play D&D because he did that with his album covers. So that's how I got the idea for that. So all right, so we did a round robin there on adventures so far that we've all picked. Jason, why don't you go into what do you want to pick next?
Well, I wanted to ask, Anna about. Now, I know she says she hasn't run many, but have you read through them?
I've read through all of them for my maps, and some of them several times, but some of them have been long. But now, in my upcoming campaign, what I do when I want to run the next campaign, I cannot take an area that I'm interested in. Sometimes I actually take an area because it looks difficult or simple, and that was one of the ideas to Shieldlands. Shieldlands has an interesting story to me, but it's one of these areas that is just a blank. It's a bunch of green hexes on the Darlene map, and there's not much detail on my map either because I didn't know much geographical detail at all. So it was kind of a challenge for me to do something. So what I did was that I started to figure out what should I use as an inspiration for it. So the first one I read was I used the Evil and the Marklands and From the Ashes. So I got the Carl Sargent kind of after the war, and get a feel for what happened during the war and stuff, because that's where you have some details what happened. And also it's reiterated in the latest Flannies, the Living Greyhawk, the guide to the Flannies. And then I went back and see, okay, what other modules are set in the area? So then we come up with the White Plume Mountain and the Return to White Plume Mountain with Caraptus and Dragotha and stuff. So we realized that that's really cool. And then there are other actors that really influenced the area, because IUs have not taken it over. So then I realized I needed more. IUs the Evil is an awesome source book for IUs and how he runs his empire, but I wanted to have more about IUs personally and his dealings and stuff, because he's one of the top dealers and wheelers, and that kind of will affect the area that my campaign will be set in. So then I went back to the Gord books, and I got the conflict between Igvil, IUs, and Grast, and from the Gord books, and those are dynamite. And you get Obmi, and you get some of the other cool stuff, meaning how is IUs handling his day-to-day kind of running his empire. I took the inspiration from the Gord books that way. And then I have another character that I simply can't resist using, and that's Dragotha. And Dragotha is simply so iconic, and since her lair is in the area, that means that she's like one of these ghosts hanging out there that affects things. And then I read the about her, the phylactery, and then you come into the Age of Worms, where they go and try to find the phylactery of the Dragotha and try to use that. And then so then I realized I need to read that. And then you have Kyus coming in again, because Dragotha is connected to Kyus. So then you get that into it. And then I realized that Dragotha has some other interesting implications, and there are other dragons that live in the area. If you so I read the awesome book and the stories that from the Banded Kingdoms hang on a second. I'm terrible. He was here on a little bit.
Who, Casey?
Casey, exactly. Casey Brown, and the awesome book that I should have somewhere. Yeah, I have it here. So but anyways, his awesome book that hang on a second.
It's buried for me somewhere.
Oh yeah, but hang on a second. I have it here. It
has to be shown all the time, you know.
Yeah, it has to be shown every time. He wrote this awesome book, available in PDF or print. And it's fantastic, and he has a lot of cool stuff. And one of the characters in this book is Morgenstaller. And Morgenstaller is in love with another dragon that lives up there. And Morgenstaller is this weird, cool red dragon that you get half dragons of all sorts. So he's very active. It has a very active love life for being a red dragon, so to speak. So it's kind of interesting. I'm going to tone down that a little bit, because that doesn't really fit with the how I run my dragons. But some of the stories and his alliance with the green dragon that lives, that is called Very Mirax or something like that. I need to be able to pronounce that before I start running the campaign. But anyway, so that will be part of the alliance. And then I have another last reference on the list, and that's the Bastion of Faith. Because the Bastion of Faith, you have the Heronius and Hexter, their temples and their faiths are detailed in that. So there you have a list of, I use those references and inspiration from it, and I've basically taken locations, I will take NPCs, I will take motivations and stuff like that from all these sources. And then I've taken a part of the southern Shieldlands, and I've detailed, and they will start in a small little village called Aldet in 598, and that's after IUs have taken over, and a lot of this from all these references have already played out. That's part of the history now, and that's going forward. But all these creatures and big NPCs and stuff are out there influencing the world. And so I basically every day in the campaign I sit down and figure out, okay, what is the ghost of Dragotha doing, if she's still alive or not. I haven't decided. We'll see what happened to the phylactery. She might be a ghost, she might be a dragon lich, she might be a demi-lich. A dragon demi-lich seems so super cool. So,
oh my gosh.
and we have Morgensthaler, and I use himself. We have all his henchmen down the line and stuff like that. So I kind of make a little list of things that can happen and their motivation, and then I roll the die, and I'll ask the players to roll the die, and then I'll see what happens in the world, and then we run each day and see what the players are up to. And that's basically how I run my campaigns. But they need the input from a lot of these kind of cool adventures and locations. But I start in a very insignificant little village that I've invented, and I've also started to detail the area that I'm playing. Will be the next 30 miles around that village.
Anne is giving away a lot from her seminar in a couple months.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that will be, then I will detail a lot of what I've done with these creatures, but all these influences. But that's part of the way I try to do my campaign. So I read and go through these adventures and get a lot of inspiration from them, but I don't run them as intended.
So
what you notice that if we look at these older adventures, that the Greyhawk material is not very heavy with dragons. I can think G2 and G3 involve some dragons.
Yep.
But in general, we're really not presented with much dragon interaction. There's some dragons in City of Greyhawk box set, but no, it's some of these campaign worlds seem to be very dragon oriented, whereas Greyhawk, the dragons themselves seem to be on the outer edge.
Yeah, the dragons are just there. They don't interact with the world. They don't change the world. And I've changed that. Dragons are very much part of the world in my campaign. They are some of the big political movers and shakers. In more or less open, some of them very hidden, and some of them much more open.
I like that about the Greyhawk. I mean, you know how Forgotten Realms is, everything's overpowered. I mean, you got 30th level characters running around as Harpers and stuff. I just, there should be some very rare characters at that level. Very, very rare. And I think that's dragons, occasionally, if you want to throw them up against an adult dragon somewhere, to throw a curveball, hey, that's great. But keep your dragons limited.
Well, and also, because it needs to make sense, because if they're that powerful, why haven't they taken over the whole world and run it? That's so if you have the powerful ones, why are they so limited? And so that comes with power comes responsibility, so to speak.
So Mike Disney just hopped on, and I want to give Mike credit. Mike, I can't shout you out because my shout. It turns out hype trains break Stream Deck shout outs during that show, and I can't do it. All right. So, but Mike, this tonight was his idea, because Mike wanted us to discuss. Yes.
But then he should have been here instead of me. I'm just ruining the fun with the modules here. Yeah.
Mike wanted to participate in the chat here, and so let's go to what Mike wanted us to discuss tonight and the effect on. I'm just gonna have to scroll through because I forget where I put it in here. Preview update. Here we go. I'm gonna scroll through all these. Boom, 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 boom. Should be right there. He wants to discuss Expedition to the Barrier Peaks now, and the effect technology would have on your campaign after you ran it. Now, unfortunately, that's the only module I could not find. It's in one of my boxes somewhere. It's the only one I don't have a hard copy in my hand of here.
So now comes the obvious question. Have you run it, and have you let technology overrun your campaign?
What's up, Taco? No, zero. Now, I have an occasional Merlin gun, right?
Yeah, you have cannons occasionally I've seen. And
yes. But no needler pistols or the injection healing things.
Androids.
Wound healing canisters, they were called. But Vegapignies I have wolf in sheep's clothing. The bullet, not the bullet, the froghemoth is from this adventure, right, Jason?
Yeah.
I mean,
for me, it's one of my absolutely favored higher level Greyhawk adventures. And I think you can incorporate the technology into Magic very well. It's old. It's of limited resource, and it's most of the stuff is unrechargeable, so that you're. I think it's also how you have to deal with it with your players, in the fact that unless they're being presented with somebody using the technological words to describe these things, then everything is described in a fantasy way. So they would think of like a hand blaster as some kind of pistol, like some kind of gripped magic wand, and it would function in a general way, like most of the rechargeable magical devices, but with the limitation that once you run out of this energy source, it's gone. So while the encounter can be very, you can add this thing because your fighters can now use these magical weapons, what seemingly magical weapons. They're of very limited duration, and boy, they can try holding back on their usage, but at some point they're going to have burnt out their laser pistols, thrown their last grenade. The androids will wear down their battery
The
packs.
power armor runs out, and then it's so heavy
Yes,
you can't
or
walk in it.
and it's irreparable. And then you can have things that are like a combination of magic and technology. But one of the things I like very much about Expedition is the equipment is solid technology, so that there's going to be very little that they can do in a magical medieval world to repair this super high level technology. And so there's a number of adventures. Besides, one of the earliest adventures is Temple of the Frog, which was in one of the Little Brown books, Blackmore, I think, which was the fourth of the fourth. There were the first three books. I think book 4 is Blackmore, and book 5 is Greyhawk. And I believe that Temple of the Frog is in that Little Brown book, Blackmore. And it is one of the ones to introduce some technology. And it is also kind of the crossover with the Mystara, which grabbed up Arneson's Blackmore, and the Greyhawk, because there's the City of the Gods, which is rumored to be up in the Land of Black Ice. And that is also technological.
Is the Egg of Coot technological too?
The Egg of Coot, I think, is just mysterious. Well, I think it's undefined. I think you have to just. I've never really found any specific information about it, but you have to ask, what is like the Machine of Lum the Mad? Is it technology or magic? So there are things, and there's the it's linked to the Machine of Lum. It's the it's like the robot thing from the artifacts. I can't remember the name offhand.
So, a point Mike asked, has this affected my campaign? It's not on my wall of fame because we ran it in 83 or 84 when I was in high school, and I made a decision there. We can't have this stuff getting out, and it's going to, even if they do the research and stuff, and my guys kind of agreed. So we didn't go that direction of the melding of the technology. Until the Merlin stuff came around with the smoke powder, and I got a couple. I have a cannon here and there, and that also comes from Fortress Elendar as well. There's a bombard in that adventure as well. So when Merlin goes to Boot Hill, and that's the crossover. So Jason, what do you think about that in your game or in Anna too? I know Anna's no naysay on tech, and I agree. I can agree about 100% on that. But Jason,
I'm fine with tech, especially high tech, because there's the old thing where a high def technology is just magic. I'd rather have the tech than the gunpowder. I don't like gunpowder.
Okay.
This doesn't work in my Greyhawk campaign, but I do enjoy the super high tech. So I do have it in my campaign. What I was working on with my Blackmore Land of 1,000 Witches is a pantheon that is based on a a technological people who've come to Earth, and the people up there are mixed. They were very interested in magic, and this is thousands of years ago. It deals with Igvil too, because Igvil is a version of Lue, the Finnish villainess, who in Russia is
Really?
Yaga. Yeah, she's the mother of witches, and so Igvil is Gygax's version of the Finnish villainous Louis. She is a much more complex figure in the Finnish legends. Her daughter actually marries one of the Finnish heroes.
Lemminkainen? Or Vanamoinen, or I think it's Lemminkainen, isn't it?
I think it's Lemon. Yeah, and so I have incorporated all that into a blending of technology and magic in my Blackmore. And so, like we get back to where, and in my campaign, S4 is important because Igvil, and the Gord books especially, because she is a major figure in my campaign. I know we were talking about us, but since I don't use the wars, I also don't like limiting the evil characters and the evil forces. They're what make the adventures. And so I disliked losing the Horn Society in favor of making a more Sauron-like single evil figure with us. So he's of much less important in my campaign where the Horn Society exists. And then I like having Igvil, and you only really find out a great deal about her in the Gord books and S4. And then I like fooling around with some of the evil deities like Encabulus and Neril, whereas I'm not a big Tharistan fan. Like Anna was saying, he is like the Sauron of Greyhawk, and that to me is just not.
It's not Greyhawk.
I really don't want to go for the Tolkienisms. And I steal from lots of sources. Like I use in Zeif, which I use, you just went by them right there. I use the Egyptian feel for Zeif that you got out of the I-Series modules.
We haven't even talked about the I-Series modules yet. And you know what? There are more than just those those ones that we pulled out here. Ravenloft is an I-Series module as well, and Desert of Desolation it was on that top 30 as well. So there's a lot.
Yes. And what I do is Zeif is very Egypt-like in my campaign, and I steal from Doctor Who. In the Tom Baker 4th Doctor Who series, there was a episode called Pyramid of Mars, and there was a character called Sutekh the Destroyer.
Oh, so that's a great one.
And Sutekh features in my Greyhawk campaign as a recently awakened deity that the ancient Zeif, before they were joined in the Baklunish, they were, their pantheon and everything was taken apart by opposing this Sutekh. So I like taking a lot of sources and combining them. But
you stole from Tom Baker era. That one is.
Yeah, I'm a big Tom Baker fan. So I kind of shy away from the Sauron Tolkienisms. So a lot of what, and I'm not a Sargent fan, as you know, a lot of that era seemed to be turning the campaign into a bit of a Tolkienism.
Okay.
And I don't like limiting. I like Greyhawk with so many possibilities. Like I was saying about B2, you can do so much with that module being a template for other adventures.
Yep.
And I really like using these early modules as a template or a setting or area for other adventures, and to get away from the adventures we know so well.
Great points. The open-endedness of Greyhawk is why I think one of the reasons we all love it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your technology answer on that. I want to say one thing. I had to manually do this shout out. If you want more Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, Nightheart Gaming on Saturday of Virtual Greyhawk Con has a highlighted stream. Ta-da! They're running Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Now he's running it in 5e, Frank is, but he will be running that. It's a highlighted stream. They have a cast already. And I think that's from 3 to 7 Eastern on Saturday, right before the main event of the Greyhawk All-Stars game. So there you go. You can get your fill of Expedition to the Barrier Peaks right before. So I was excited that he was doing that.
Goodman released Expedition in one of their monster hardcovers with some expanded material in 5th edition for Expedition to the Barrier Peaks.
Yes, the
so it has the 1E module, and then it has the 5E conversion, and they've added more material, and it's a monster book. You know, it's $40-50 book, and it's a giant hardcover. It's like the size of a little phone book.
So let me bust some balls. Sorry, Jimmy. Every streamer has gotten an event in the Greyhawk Con but one. I wonder who that is. I'm kidding. Jimmy, I can't do shout outs because it turns out hype trains break stream decks now, we know. So there you go. But Jim, I was just kidding, man. You get it in when you can get it in. There you got a lot going on. All right, let's move. That was a good one, Mike. Thanks. Technology is one of the things that can be argued about a lot. The Boot Hill crossover put Merland on the map. Right in the Slaver's reference, it has, hey, they can use smoke powder. I mean, it says it right in the Slaver's reference. So Sean Reynolds.
I'm okay with technology as long as it's described in fantasy terms so much that it fools me, so to speak. Fair enough. I know I'm more sensitive than my players are. So as long as the adventure, if the author of the adventure had intended it to be technology, but he describes it fantastic enough or fantasy enough to fool me, I'm okay with it. Meaning iron golems, I've used them, and they could be kind of but if they describe them as technology, that kind of, no, it doesn't work for me.
So let's put it one more way, Mike Disney. Without Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, you wouldn't have certain monsters in Greyhawk. So I think that you wouldn't have Edgepiggies.
Yeah, some of them those monsters are awesome. Yeah, they're awesome because they're kind of fantastic.
Wolf in sheep's clothing. Isn't the vampire, is the vampire plant from that too? The Death Venus flytrap, I think, from that too. There's a whole bunch.
That might be, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of monsters.
And they are really cool. Yeah.
John, good to see you, Taco. It's been a little bit. Look at that, man. Good to see you on.
Thank you, Taco. That was you. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that's good.
All right, so I want to talk about one that I love that did not make the top 30 from that dungeon that I think should have, unless I missed it, and that's Tomb of the Lizard King. Everyone knows it as Sakatha's lair, on Anna's map, and it's in the whole marshes. Brian has done a great take with Sublime on this. I like the Lizard King / undead part. Plus, there's a dragon in here. There's a Bodak in here. There's some crazy stuff in this one. I don't know, Jason, Anna, any input on Tomb of the Lizard King?
I probably haven't done that in 30 years. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a very limited knowledge on Tomb of the Lizard King. Yeah. But there is one adventure that I don't think is on the list that should be there.
Okay.
Hamlet.
Well, Hamlet is.
Oh, Hamlet is? Okay.
Hamlet is because they do complement. We haven't even talked about the number one of all time. Hamlet is because it's part of T1 to 4. Right.
Ah, gotcha.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it's
here. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
We haven't even talked about Temple of Mental Evil. Oh, thanks,
well, for me, the T1 to 4 is a failure. I don't like what was done with Gygax's direction. Supposedly there was a huge amount of notes and.
I like. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I like it all the way until you get down to the nodes and all that.
Oh,
I don't.
God.
I've never used the nodes.
Exactly,
I
all
just
that
count the
crap
nodes.
at the end. But yeah, but the Hamlet, the moat house, and the upper levels and the first kind of basement levels of the temple are awesome. But then you get into trouble, I think.
Yeah. Come on.
Or
There's
irrelevant to the adventure.
It is.
From,
It
yeah.
absolutely is. The nodes don't make much sense. But think about this. Okay, Jason, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say some positives here first. You get to banish Zugdemoy in this. You get the free Thrommel in this, jerks, all of you who are going to say something else.
And he's not a vampire. So
he's not a vampire. He's the king of 3 now. Deal with it, okay? In fact, I'm going to do the write-up on Furiundi and make sure that he's king in it on Rob's what do you call it? Cannon fire thing there. So suck on it. All right, sorry about that. You get a final word broadsword in this. First, Fragrak is in this, right? You also have Ayus and St. Cuthbert show up. You have Dark Elves in here who are really nasty. And you can make this a sandbox from Hamlet at the beginning through to Null. And that's the way you need to run this. If you run this linearly, then it's not good. But you also should have the factions of all the other elements fighting against each other in here, because they always do. There are fire, air, and water factions. Take advantage of that. Have them playing off at each other. You can have a lot of fun with this. That's why it's my number one. A lot of people are going to argue with me. All right, so it's not written the best. The groundwork is there. Plus, it'll change your campaign. So.
And it's also an adventure that is really set in Greyhawk with the flavor and the references and all that, compared to like you Keep of the Borderlands, that it could be set anywhere. But this is really Greyhawk. When you go to Hamlet, you have a Cuthbert Temple, you have a whole bunch of other stuff that are really Greyhawky.
And so John from Blue Box is playing in Hamlet now. He's playing in my Hamlet. Yep. In the future, Oscar Gundergood's in his 80s. He's Rufus and Burner in his 60s. It's awesome. So it's a great place to really stick in and do a lot of adventuring in. Jason, if they remove the nodes, would that benefit you? I know Noel was.
One of the things that I'm doing now is, it's been so many years that I'm at least moving things to after these adventures have occurred. I wanted to say a couple of things, like first, that it's amazing. T1 had a wonderful map, and the Return to had perhaps the worst map of any Greyhawk product I've ever seen. The map was some badly computer-generated, supposedly new expansion of the Hamlet area, so that Return to was horrendous. But the other thing is just the balance of things. T1 is such a wonderful introductory base for adventuring. It has your setup. Now, I would say Len did a better idea where he gave his Restenford more depth. And just the simple fact of the naming of the characters, one of the things you have to do is, if you're going to run Hamlet, you have to name everybody, because it will help you immensely to have that prepared ahead of time, that when your characters stumble across some farmer who's maybe going to be a hook to one of your adventures, then you really do need the names. And it's a sad thing, I think, that they just weren't done the first time. It might seem like a simple thing to do, but there's a little depth to Hamlet that you really have to add as a DM. The other thing is, it's just the whole. I love the map. I love the situation of the farmers, the militia, Rufus and Byrne, the castle being built, the little tower that's there, the wonderful adventurers inn at the crossroads, so you get the locals and you get the people traveling through, and then you have the moat house, which it's just such a wonderful little adventure, and it can become such a money pit and motivation for your characters to take it over and fix it up. And I'll tell you, T1 is the perfect introductory module.
That is true.
The rest of the series is a disappointment to me. Now, what I've done with it in my own campaign is I've taken it, the key 1 to 4, that's been done. The temple's cleaned out, and now it's drawing creatures again. And I take a more Lovecraftian approach to it, where the draw of the temple is this evil that is older than older than us, older than a lot of the activities in the Flyness, and that the temple is just, it's going to be an unending draw for evil. No matter what, you could leave it as a pit in the ground, and it will draw evil to it. So my way of dealing with it now is just not to use. I love Hamlet, but I love the Moat House. I'm not a fan of the rest of the temple.
All right, it's an opinion, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. So here's my irony, Mike Wilson, Celestian. You've been running. How many years? How many sessions are you into that? 80 to 100, and yeah, Zug to me is a big blob of fungus. I agree on that. It's a goofy big bad, but it's a big bad you get to banish. So I don't think. My guess is they didn't want to throw Orcus or some other big big bad. And oh, you did 2 years? You finished up last weekend. What are you going to run next? What's next? You running the So also, I'd love to see you do a show camp for Greyhawk Con too, man, if you could. I know you were thinking about it. So that would be really awesome. Very, very cool. Oh, Jimmy hopped off because I picked on him. So sorry about that. Maybe, I don't know. But she made an appearance in our game. Nice. All right. Why don't we talk about... we haven't talked about White Plume Mountain yet. We got to really talk about White Plume Mountain, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think we really need to talk about.
I need to read it through again, so
right.
we should
this
definitely
is like the G series, which we'll do the GD series at another time, because that's a long discussion. This is a small module, Jason, correct? Like G1. This counting this big Legend of Charybdis and the monsters, it's like 9 pages. It's only 9 pages long. It's short.
Yes.
The original. Now
it's a tournament, so.
Oh, so White Plume Mountain was originally a tournament module.
Well, no, actually, the interesting thing about White Plume Mountain is this. I was just listening to Carlos interview Lawrence Schick, and that was Lawrence's resume to Gygax to get hired by TSR. He wrote that so that he would, and they liked it so much that they just used it.
Okay.
But White Plume Mountain was, it was Lawrence Schick's to prove to Gygax that he could write adventures.
So I did not know that. Jason, you're full of them tonight. The thing with Igwolf and I did not know Lua. I did not know that, man. That's just amazing to me. I never put two together, but you're absolutely correct there.
That might actually be something that I picked up from the Gord novels.
Okay. Wow.
I'm not sure offhand.
So, Phantom, I'm going to make a suggestion that maybe Jason will say no and a couple other people will say no on, because I'm not a fan of return modules, but I like Return to White Plume Mountain. I do. It's got a lot more depth than the original White Plume Mountain. I really like this, and I ran this, oh my God, it's got to be 20 years ago when it first came out. If you can get a hold of the Silver Anniversary Return, or I guess DM's Guild will probably have it, give it a shot, man. There's some neat pieces of Charybdis could be all over your party. That's all. That's one of the things I'll say in here. It's really, there's some great monsters. There's actually something here that actually can unage a character that's been horribly aged. There's really some neat things. And I ran an adventure about 3-4 months ago, Charybdis was reborn in this, right? Anna, remember, and he's 18 now. It's been 18 years of game time. So he's actually a kid. He's actually an adult now again, in my game. So I don't know where I'm going to go with that yet.
Isn't there a Dungeon Magazine adventure that deals with White Plume Mountain and Charybdis?
Yes, there was another one. There's a Ex Charybdis Limbre or something like that. It's called, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Check that one out as well because it has a connection in. But I think you need to run this one first. I think you need to return to as well. Amy says yes, there is. So it's iconic. It is one of the most well-known locations on this map, and any Greyhawk map. That big, it almost looks like Mount Doom. All right.
Oh
okay.
yeah, it's a big volcano. It's the biggest volcano in the Flannies.
So it's a cool thing.
It plays really well.
Yeah.
I mean, some adventures read very well, but don't play as well. White Plume Mountain is a wonderful adventure to run your characters through, and I know my players loved White Plume Mountain.
Yep. So, what do they call the undead dragon in here? Or the first one? They don't call it a Dracolich, do they? I know that's a Forgotten Realms term, but there's
no. I don't think that's a Dracolich. No.
No.
Well, Dragotha is an undead dragon, so yeah.
Yeah, but he's not termed a Dracolich, correct?
No, I don't think they use the term.
Okay.
But it's.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone
thought of that until Forgotten Realms.
Effectively, she is a Dracolich. She's an undead dragon
right.
that comes back. So yeah. But she could be an undead dragon of some other type too. There is a vampire dragons and other stuff too. So yeah, but she has some really awesome powers. So I get the sense that she's kind of a Dracolich. That's always what I've.
So as a filler, we're going to do a part 2 because we're getting close to on time here. Where was the Dracolich introduced? I know that there's Dracoliches, or there's an adventure card that has those undead dragons. Are they called Dracoliches? I think they are.
Yeah,
Shadows of Terror. It's in from the City of Greyhawk box set, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
They're in there, and that's 80 whatever. It's 87 or 88.
It's been around from forever. And then Forgotten Realms stole the glory. I think. But
I think check that. I think it's in the Free City of Greyhawk box set. One of the adventure cards. It's called Shadows.
There could be the thing that it's the Forgotten Realms book that. Where the Dracolich is featured, that comes to my mind.
Yeah, but it's often because they were the most prominent ones. Just like Drow became more prominent in Forgotten Realms, but they were not there first.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that's just a complete steal from Greyhawk.
Well, a lot of stuff we know that has happened a lot of times as well.
Yep.
I am not against stealing from Forgotten Realms. So if you look in my latest Earth Journal article on the Undead Hunter, I steal 2 spells that are from Forgotten Realms, and they're actually in the computer game Icewind Dale 2, and that is False Dawn and oh my god, oh shit. Sunrise and False Dawn. Sunrise is 3rd, False Dawn is 6th. I love those spells. I'm stealing them. So,
It's really, for me, that the Ruins of Undermountain are about the only thing I majorly steal from Forgotten Realms.
And that made it into the top 30. That is actually, and that's Ed Greenwood, correct?
The Ruins of Undermountain, I'm not sure if, it's Forgotten Realms, but I'm not sure
I think it's Ed. I think it's Ed.
It's, the truth is, though, that the box set is just, you really, it's just maps for the most part. It's nowhere near a complete dungeon. It has a good introduction. It's got ideas for fleshing it out, but it really is. You've got these wonderful maps, colorful maps, but you really don't have in those old box sets, you don't have a consistent fleshed out dungeon. So it's one of the reasons I like it is it's just I'm a terrible cartographer. I'm terrible with maps. So it was very nice to steal the maps from the box set. I don't know if they make sense, but they look very good.
Well, we have a lot of stuff that is neutrally based that I know can get placed in Greyhawk, and I know we wanted to kind of keep it to Greyhawk Adventures, but Anna mentioned, for example, Bastion of Faith, which they say you can place it anywhere, but that's Greyhawk, and that's
the content is Greyhawk, but it's not placed anywhere. But
true.
I'm interested in it from the faith
deity
descriptions and stuff.
Bastion of Faith is a source book, isn't it?
Yes.
Not the adventure.
No, it's not. But I'm just using because Anna mentioned it. Yeah, and it's Bruce Cordell, and I've tried 100 times to get him on the show, so I've struck out there, but I haven't struck out with someone else. All right, so one more before I know we're going to run a little late here. This is in the top 30 against Cold the Reptile God. I've never run it.
That's a classic. Yeah.
I've never run it, but I will be soon. Okay, so I want to show you all something real quick. Give you a little hint because none of my people are on. If you look at this map of Narwhal, first thing, if you go to the northeast, Newbriar's on that map, and that is the adventure Shadows of the Halfling Hall I just ran, added to the northeast. Instead of Orlane, you have Lorraine. So guess what? There you go. I have placed a town in my campaign, and I'm going to be running this that I've never run once in 40 years, and I'm going to run this soon. Yep, yeah. I'm going to run this one for that group, for the Headhunter group out of Narwhal, our new group of first levels. Most of them are second now, but that's a little thing there. It's a great adventure. All right, so Mike is on. That's one of the few modules I still need to get. Hey, well, Mike, it's a great one. I want to give Mike a quick shout out. I can't press the button, so Mike is on. Mike and I are collaborating on something for Virtual Greyhawk Con, and that's all I'll say. Right, Mike? I'm not gonna say anything else. I'll say what it's for. It's for the All-Star game. So. Cool. Yes. So there you go. So I asked Mike for an idea for something, and Mike is going to run with it. So he's working on some background for me, and hopefully it makes canon, or hopefully it makes our canon or whatever. But I think it will. It's going to be a great story. So yes, awesome. Yeah, you remembered, Mike. You got a lot done in the first sitting that we just were BSing back and forth. So yep, very, very cool. All right, so listen, we got to do the GD series. We got to do Salt Marsh. We got to do Ghost Tower. We got to do. We're going to have a part 2 on this.
Oh, so yeah, definitely.
We're definitely going to have a part 2. We did not get to. We didn't really talk about Desert Desolation. We didn't. So we got a lot to talk about in the future, and I promise we'll do a part 2 on this when I don't have, can't do it next week, and we got a really, really cool DM. It has something to do with something. We'll have something to do with it. So you can, if you want to ponder that. But that was a little Easter egg I threw out there, a little tidbit. So Jason, what do you got in closing here for this? I know we'll get to. Hey, good thing, Mike Disney. We're gonna have a part 2 on this. You're gonna see a lot of these modules live coming around. What do you think?
Well, if we're talking about, tonight we're talking about the older material, and there is a lot of things that, especially coming from Judges Guild, that were very basic, generic things, or they were just such good adventures. Most of the great Judges Guild stuff is from Jacques, and yes. Dark Tower, Caverns of Thracia. There's also a little thing called Frontier Forts of Kelnor, which is a little like B2. It provides the template for a fortress that is kind of, it's more of an open area, and it doesn't have a monster adventuring thing. It's really just a template for using this fortress design for various adventure ideas. That is a very early, that's very early material. It's something I've always used with Greyhawk. Caverns and Dark Tower, we've talked about before, and they're very, very useful for Greyhawk. There's some other material that's come out from other companies back in the 70s. That fits in very well. There was a company called the Companions, and they provided some very small print adventures that are now considered. They were very, very wonderful little in-depth adventures that are suitable for Greyhawk as well. There's Harn from Columbia Games, but they're not so much the era we're talking about. They're a later '80s company, but they came out with some wonderful stuff. And off of the classic, I would just say that a topic, very interestingly, would be to look at Paizo. And like their Pathfinder series has, like you were mentioning, the Rune Lords is very C1, and they have a number of their series. They have one that is very Backloonish useful. They have another that deals with Baba Yaga, and that one is wonderful, easy to sweat. They have another one that is called Kingmaker, and that is a very, very popular Pathfinder adventure path that I found. At least the first 2 or 3 are wonderful. The Paizo material, I'm not a I don't follow 3. I don't follow the Pathfinder game, but I like it for inspiration.
No,
So
and that's a good thing, inspiration. And it seems like Anna, you got a lot of inspiration going with what
Yeah,
you
and
do with modules. So
yeah, and
yep.
it's yeah, and but the interesting thing is, since I've used Pathfinder for a decade now, so I and Kingmaker is one of the best Pathfinder stuff ever written, but it's from the mechanics perspective that I love it, so to speak. It's not the content, and so I haven't stolen the fluff, so to speak, but I've stolen the mechanics, and it's an awesome way to run an overland campaign and a hex crawl. So Kingmaker is awesome that way. So I've taken mechanics from Pathfinder, but and Golarion is great world building, definitely. So because it's one of the later editions, so they have a lot of experience to kind of build from. And like when we had Eric Mona on here, meaning a lot of the people that built and worked on Golarion also worked on Greyhawk a lot before. So there is some interesting, at least maybe the Greyhawk experience behind Golarion, so to speak, because there's a lot of people that were part of building Greyhawk stuff.
Definitely a shame that PaizoCon or PaizoCalc or whatever didn't stick, but neither here nor there. We are where we are today, and we make the best of it. And I think we're all making the best of it. I just want to say a thank you. I think we're up to 57 events and like well over almost 125 registered for Greyhawk Con. I'm really excited the direction it's going. Hopefully the community's coming back together. And we got a lot of people who are participating now, and more coming in. Knights and Knaves just came in and posted at least 2 more events, all old school. We got a couple other. Scott Casper has an OD&D game in as well, so it's going very well. How about Jason? Why don't you shout out your game, man? You got a great game going on, I hear.
Yeah, and I don't know if you ever got the shout-outs fixed. I'm now all with Cannon Fire. I do a journal entry. There's actually journals on Cannon Fire. So Hall of the Mountain King is on Cannon Fire.
Okay.
And I'm putting up most of my stuff. But I'm on Discord, the Cannon Fire. No, it's actually... It was your gaming channel where I'm...
it's Virtual Greyhawk Con. Virtual Greyhawk Con.
Yes. And then we set up a private Discord channel, but I'm open to people coming to listen, or if we have room, they could run an NPC. We're full at the moment, but I run on Monday nights from 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time a Discord game. It's set in Geoff 579 CY. I'm having a great time with it. I hope my players are too. People are welcome to come listen. It's been just a blast. It's the first internet game that I've had that actually works. It's Theater of the Mind, because I don't have visuals yet, and I've been having a blast with it. And it's run just like a gaming table, but we just talk through Discord, and that's been it's been a great time.
Okay, so there's the Virtual Greyhawk Con Discord. Once again, I had to manually do it because of the shout out deal. Jason, I know how many people are playing right now. You have 6.
Well, I have 5 people. That's my preference, is to have 5 players, and we have a 6th person who's joined, has been running an NPC, and hopefully will decide to be a permanent player. And I don't mind running a few more NPCs within a session. I'm not too big on much more than 6, because we only have 4 hours, and it kind of slows things down too much. But
playing NPC is a great thing, though. You know, hop in, and get with Jason and play an NPC in there for an hour or something. That would be great.
Or a 4-hour night. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And then if you just want to come in and listen to the game, you're more than welcome to come and see how we're doing it. And it's been a lot of fun. It's a 1E homebrew game. My variant is I handle the rules and the players just handle character actions, but it's not a storyteller game. It's a 1E rules, and you roll dice, and a lot of random chance and things. But the more that people play their characters, the better off they are.
Excellent. Also, listen to this with Jason. Jason is a good player too. He played in my Horror in the Holes during GaryCon. Listen to this cast: Jason, Anna, Carlos Lysing, right? Matthew Lazinski and William Henry Dvorak all playing in a game together, right? And the ever mysterious Tim is DMing it. Now, that's like a superhero cast. I can't wait to just sit back and watch Tim torture you all.
And we will all play barbarians.
Everyone's playing barbarians.
Yes.
Yes. So that is Dark Heart Handstrike on Virtual Greyhawk Con. All right. There should be more than 5 people signed up for the highlighted stream, is all I'm saying. Anna and I are in the high 20s on our stuff. Go check it out. I mean, if you want to get scared shitless, Tim's your DM. He scares me shitless every time he DMs. So there you go, right? So I can't wait till he already told me some of his things he's going to throw at you guys, and I'm like wonderful. So definitely a fun time. Jason, I'm so glad you're back on after a couple months, man, and glad we didn't have a single blip. We had a blip with Carlos, but not with you. So this is awesome.
It's this laptop. It's the Chromebook just does not have the power to do this kind of stuff, and you can tell it's entirely due to the machine. And
it's awesome,
thank Dave. And this really this has made things work very well.
Yeah. Well, the events on yes. So Rox, I will upload every single one, just like I did on GaryCon. Will end up. I have 5 events I am producing. All right, Anna's seminar, Greyhawk All-Star Game, Tim's game, Brian's game, and then the wrap-up show, Ask the Experts, with Gary Julian, with Leonard Lakofka, with Malden, with Grodog. So awesome. They will all end up on YouTube. What's that? Yeah, and Anna and I are hosting that show. So there you go. So you're gonna have us too, and I may add 1 or 2 in. If someone else, I think we may add someone who may be on the show next week if he wants to come on that show too.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. So it's gonna be freaking awesome. I'm so excited. But listen, I want to enjoy the rest of the summer too. Plus, I have ReaperCon I got to worry about shortly too, because I got to do stuff for them too. All right, so Anna, what do we got going on? I know you've been busy.
Well, yeah. First of all, I have the ongoing Atlas. I've done 43 of the 50 maps, and the rest of up to map 50 will be done next week. Is the plan. So then I will have done all the 50 maps. Then I have the covers, and I have the overview map, the political maps, some other cool stuff that I will put in there that I will have to work on So it will be all wrapped up and done by October.
It'll be ready.
Yeah, it will be. Now I know it will be ready because
Yes.
it's so much done of it, so to speak. So it's kind of cool, and it's in 3 formats. It comes as a. It's supposed to be the idea with the atlas is that you should have a book that is 11 by 17. So each page is 11 by 17, and the map goes spread across both pages. So you can download the PDFs, and then you can go to a printer, or you can print them yourself at home. And they have margins if you want to. You can have bleed-in margins, and then you can have them spiral bound or soft bound or hard bound or whatever you want to do, so to speak. And there is also a digital version that has both of the 2 maps merged into one. So you have one big map. And the Flanies is divided into 50 maps, 50 areas, and each area has like a alphanumeric grid, and there will be an index with everything on the map listed, so you can find what map it's on and what location it's on. That will be perfect, especially for beginners that wants to get into Greyhawk. They can look for something in the index and figure out where it is. So, and then there will be some other cool stuff. There will be political map. There will be some other extra goodies that I don't want to spill the beans on yet. That I will work on to get it done by October. So there will be roughly about 100 pages, somewhere around the 100 pages plus index. So probably a little bit over 100 pages. So it will be kind of a hefty book, so to speak, all in all when it comes. And unfortunately, I can't sell it printed. I would love to go to a printer and order a whole bunch of these printed and ship to someone. But no, that's unfortunately that's not going to happen. But what you can do is that you take the PDFs and go to your staple print center or something else and have them printed.
How about though during your seminar maybe 10? It's up to you.
Well,
for a
yeah,
giveaway.
that's the thing. Once it's all done, I'm going to go in and print one to see if it works, so to speak.
Okay.
So see what,
We'll have.
So we'll see what we can. Yeah, I don't want to promise anything because I need to get all the PDFs done and then go to have one printed or a couple of them printed. So yeah.
Exciting times. May you live in interesting times. We live in interesting Greyhawk times. The Greyhawk revival, I think, is right around the corner.
Yeah. And then I have my Shieldlands campaign is under planning, and my map of the area of Southern Shieldlands is underway too, and it's in that tedious, difficult, long grinding phase of doing all the wetlands and all the rivers and the creeks and stuff. And for those, now I'm going to take 1 minute to kind of gripe against all the people that do the 3D terrain software and stuff like that, because if you do terrain that is larger than a mile by a mile, then the drainage and rivers and creeks and stuff becomes, and wetlands is a key part of how landscape works. And I haven't encountered any tools since Wilbur. And Wilbur, for the ones who are into 3D terrain building, it's the ancient first tool that came out 25 years ago. It's as old as Bryce. And he can do some amazing stuff, but the quality is so low that it's not useful for today's mapping. It's only used if you want to do a whole planet and you don't want to see things that are smaller than 10 miles or something like that. Then you can use Wilbur. So it's kind of nostalgic, but not really useful for mapping the Flanies much. But the problem is that that's the only tool that can do rivers and lakes properly, nothing else. And to me, it's so weird when you do a software that you spend thousands of hours programming all sorts of cool fractals and algorithms to create all sorts of wonderful terrains, but there's nothing for rivers, or hardly nothing. They have token support for rivers, which is, to me, crappy. So I have to program them myself, and I have to sit and hand craft basically every river where they're supposed to be. The good thing with that is that I get them where I want them to be. The bad thing is it takes me 2 months to do the damn rivers. It's taking me, I probably spent 200 hours doing it for a 30 by 30 mile area, but it's a test case. And the good thing is that there are new tools on the horizon. And that's why I've hold off of it. This project was something I wanted to do 2 years ago. And then I saw all these kind of cool tools coming, and I've tested them out in alpha and beta version. And the problem is that rivers is always the last thing to go in there. So they still don't have it. It's being announced, and I know it's coming. I can't say any names, but the things that I've been testing, it's in the pipeline, so it's coming. And then I know that what now takes me a month to do, I can probably do in a couple of days, maybe even a couple of hours, once I have the proper tools to do the job. So that's why I want to I can't wait any longer. I need to get this off in production, so to speak. So that's why I'm doing it now. So, but it's going to be one hell of a cool map once it's done. That's for sure. If you want to do a hex crawl, but or like an overland campaign, this way you can treat your area, the 30 miles around the village where this will start, as a dungeon, where you can basically see everything. And there will be some cool things, and I will explain in detail more about all the different factions and how I built this campaign and what the ideas I have for it and stuff. So the bad thing is that I don't want any one of my players to actually watch my seminar, but we'll see about that.
Oh, you know what? Like, so my guess is that the record of viewers on this channel may fall with Anna's seminar. I really
No, I'm not
I really think so.
Okay.
I think it's going to be so fantastic. I mean, because people, your own maps, your own campaign that have never been seen before. I just think it's going to be such an awesome.
Yeah,
awesome
I have
time.
a whole new version of the Flanese map that has been updated, heavily updated with all sorts of cool stuff. And I've also edited the terrain on it. And there are some new cool features on it and stuff that will go into future Greyhawk maps that is on my own private campaign version of my Flanese maps. And I've also changed and tweaked something in the Greyhawk City area that is kind of cool.
Nice. I know what that is. I know what that is.
Yeah, there's some cool. There's been a lot of hints to it, but I want to kind of explain the political situation and a whole bunch of other stuff. What's going on in my version of Greyhawk, and then you can take the goodies out of it, use the things that you like, and discard the rest, so to speak. So that's and I also worked really hard in Midgard the past month, because there's so I thought that I would be liberated from that, but it's coming back, and there's some new projects and stuff going on in the world of Kobold Press. So I've been working really hard on that too. So that's why I can only work half time on my Greyhawk projects right now. But thanks to my patrons, I can work half time on it. So that I'm really grateful for. So thank you again, everyone who helped me do this.
It is awesome, and I know.
Well, you should be doing a whole show just with Anna talking about her campaign, because I love hearing.
That's what we're doing for Virtual Greyhawk Con, Jason.
I was just talking about regular Gabbin. And
we're saving this.
We can do that, some follow-ups afterwards if there's interest to dive into topics, and then we can have a Gabbin when Jay talks about how he's sold something in his campaign, and I can talk about how I've done in my campaign or something like that. We can do that for a Gabbin afterwards.
We're sandbagging. Absolutely sandbagging on this. I got so much to go over, I don't even know where to start. Okay. So Lexfire 22, I am going to not hold back. Just like I have a Living Greyhawk game this next Saturday, hero points and anti-hero points are going to be in play during this All-Star game. So if you want to throw the DM a 500 cheer so that I can put a critical hit on Luke Gygax's character, have all at it. You know what I'm saying? Because everything goes in this. So I'm really, Anna's playing in it too. Anna's going to have her Imri character in it. It's going to be a blast. Chuck Cumbell's going to revisit his playing of Fritz Winchester.
Oh, I really look forward to that.
Oh, he's one of the funniest players. Yeah, it's going to be such a fun time. Eric Mona's. I mean, come on, you can't get any bigger than Eric and Gary. Gary's already. I kind of know what Gary's character is. I'm working on all that. So the answer to that is yes. I linked most of my games. I didn't link the very last event of Greyhawk Con is a Gabbin that's called Ask the Experts. So right now, like I said, it's got Gary Julian. It's got Len Lakofka, it's got Malden, it's got Alan Grodog, all in it so far. And you can ask any questions you want to them. And it will go as long as you want to go on that, because it's the last event of Greyhawk Con. And Anna and I will host it. So, all right. What else is going on here? We have a new sponsor. All right. I couldn't help myself during the storm. I reached out to this company and I finalized things. I was sitting in the tropical storm down the Jersey Shore one day. I said, I got to get this done. I'm going to show you the video for. Oh, you gotta tighten that up there, Corey. You gotta if they're separated, it doesn't work. You gotta tighten it up. Put them all in one big smash. That's weird. It didn't work. So I don't know what's up with that. It should. I don't think you need the exclamation point. You just you don't need exclamation point. That's what it is. So just there you go. Thanks. Another special. Thank you so much, Corey. Really appreciate it. All right. I'm going to show you a minute 45-second vid of this, the company, and you've seen it in the right-hand corner. I can't do the shout out. Gamescape 3D. It's a 3D print company. They've already given us a boatload of stuff. Retro Gamer Meth, Mike Saxon, if you're on, Mike knows them. It's a real small company. The guy, Jeremy's a great guy. I have Brian Sublime on his Ender 3, and I got Bill the Master Crafter on his Ender 5, printing out stuff right now, as you have seen in the scroller. Now, there's our Ender 5. The picture below it, that picture is not one of their products. It was a test print, but I wanted to show you what Bill can do with a print. Look at that. And then look at that. That's the final thing. It's amazing, the stuff we're going to bring out. Yes, and they're awesome. Are they the Highlands one or the General Roads one, Mike? Yes, that's Bill's. And look at this. Look at the other side. Okay, look at that. I mean, that is such an awesome. That was just a general Thingiverse print, I believe he did. Now, where do you see this stuff? We're up in our game here. With what we're doing here, because this is what we're about. We're about visual. My roads suck. Okay, I got those train roads. I've had enough of those. You know which ones I'm talking about, everyone. I want them out of there. I want some great. Look at that. I want some great new roads. I want bridges. I want swamps. Watch this vid, okay? This is going to be a regular vid at the beginning of our shows from this point on, and any other ones that Jeremy gives me. Here we go. Love the card tracks. Where do you see this one? Ta-da! So, needless to say, that was from their latest Kickstarter. We have all the files. We're thank you, John D. Good to see you on, man. Really appreciate you hopping on. I'm excited to make this partnership. So yeah, I think you Meth got the original track and set that they had, which is was outside of the Kickstarter. He done it those first, which are really nice too. Bill's printing them up as we speak on that one. Thank you. We're going to up our game with visual. It's going to take some time, of course, because these things don't print overnight. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. I can't link it because it's broken. I'm going to break my 2 Patreon rule. I have Anna as a Patreon. I have Carlos Lysing as a Patreon. Gamescape 3D's Patreon is $3.50 a month, and you get 3 buildings or brand new prints. August is a Goblin Swamp Hut, which is freaking awesome. $3.50 for the Patreon to get access to that. It's a no-brainer. We're really excited about this partnership with them. And the great thing is that he's a small company. He has a ton of stuff, but he's okay. Like if he's okay if I borrow even another company because he's small. I said, hey, Jeremy, I want to stick with you. It's going to take us months to print all this stuff out. So let's just walk before we, let's run with this. It's an exciting time. That was announcement number 1. So we're going to be adding. I'm going to do a lot of videos with them. He's a really technological guy. Plus, he'll do stuff by request. So you may see some stuff really customized for us too. Plus, he's doing giveaways for you guys and gals too. So we'll add them to our giveaways. Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll have files added to giveaways. Thank you, there, Gitano. I told him I would. $3.50 is nothing to sneeze at all, guys. Yeah. So there you go. All right. That's announcement number 1. Thank you for watching that vid. Brian has some test prints of some of their paths down. That's being shown here. He just printed them out today. That's what you see beneath Anna. And there's another one. Look at that. I mean, it's just awesome stuff. Can't wait. Cannot wait. All right. Look at those sexy legs. Yeah. Absolutely. Here we go. What's going on this week? All right, let's start with Wednesday. We got our friends from Living Greyhawk Geoff coming back with some new triads. They're going to go into depth on the Geoff area, hardcore. We'll see Jose coming back. We'll see a couple of others. I always get Sean Merwin. Is it Sean? Sean was Keelan. I always get them confused, the two, because they're both authors. But we're going to have a nice group on for this discussion. Plus, Len's going to come on and show us talk about his newest contest he's going to have. So that is Wednesday night. All right, Greyhawk Geoff in depth. Thursday night, One Shot Adventure, Trouble at Deep Stream Hamlet. Probably another place I may have to have Anna to put on the map in the county of Ulick.
As we fix that. Yeah.
We need to fill the county of Ulick up. The Great Adventure group out of Altamira, Theo's Heroes, will be the group. They're led by a jester. So there you go. That's all you need to know. And that's Thursday night. We will have a giveaway that night. It's probably be a stratagem giveaway. More of your wonderful Titan dice, your Atlas sets. I'll be giving away some more of them on Thursday. Okay. So all you subs, you don't have to be on, but if you're a follower, you got to be on at the end for the general sign up. Alrighty. And then Saturday night, a Living Greyhawk. It is always sunny. We have some new guests. Jose Ortiz is going to be playing. Judy Rudolph from Keelan is going to be playing, and then the regular crew. So we're going to have a nice big group for Thursday night. We're going to have a couple new players, a couple new triads playing with us, because Vernon Vincent is not able to make it. So I said, well, let's add 2. And of course, there'll be conspiracies being thrown around about the Order of Ulick and Ayus. I think this will remove those conspiracies right away. More giveaways that night too. So absolutely yes. It's going to be a blast. Tim's going to go after Casey hardcore with cheers. I guarantee it for anti-hero points. But remember, Anna's playing, so be nice. So there you go. Yeah,
and I got to be nice just because I'm playing.
Jose Ortiz is playing an Inquisitor.
Oh.
Yes, awesome. Yep. All right, the big announcement. I finally landed someone Carlos got a while back. Which Carlos has got the connections, but for the full 2 hours, next week's Gabbin 104. Here's my hint. Anyone know? That's my hint.
Yep.
The author of that book.
Yep, we're going to get drugged.
James N. Ward will be on the show. Okay, so Jim Ward will come on, and we're going to talk Greyhawk Adventures, some things he has done, contribution to the D&D world, Greyhawk, his new channel that he's working on Twitch for his old school game. And yes, Anna will be joining me. I may add one more. I think I'm going to see if Gary's available.
Yeah,
for
that
that?
would be great.
I think
Yep.
so. Yeah, so Jim Ward will be on. So there you go. So that's what's happening. One more shout out. If you do not know, pre-virtual Greyhawk Con, ReaperCon Live is the weekend of Labor Day. It's from Thursday to Monday. It's a long con. We've been asked to host the kickoff RPG game Thursday night. It's pulled back to my channel now for technical reasons, which is great, and Reaper's going to raid in. I have 4 giveaways that night, everyone. 4, and they're paint sets too. The half dozen. So if you want to be on that Thursday night for ReaperCon Live's kickoff game, Thursday night, what's that, the 3rd of September? It'll be called Return of the Portal Master. I need to do a banner for that. All right. And then we have an event Saturday morning. Myself, Mike Disney, Bill the Master Crafter, and Brian Sublime have a modding, and I know I told Wiley and a couple other people about this, a modding miniatures event for Virtual ReaperCon as well. So I got a lot of stuff going on. Thank you all. Wow, we went a long time. That was a long time for shout outs, right, Jason? Sorry.
Yeah, that was the longest shout outs, and
Yes.
it was not my fault this time. So
yes, it was my fault. because I was on vacation for a week, but
yeah,
we're going to crank out the 3D print. The stuff that Gamescape 3Ds make is, where do you see the castles and the bridges? And he's got you ever see Josie Wales when they're pulling across that ferry? He's got one of those, man. I mean, it's awesome. The stuff we're going to be able to do is just going to be wonderful, and we're all excited about upping our game another level and bringing that out to you. And there's some things I may be able to do for you, but if you have the $3.50, join his Patreon. He's got a Discord. You'll get stuff every month. So I enjoy it. Yeah, you know what, Canadian, it's all about the whole experience, man. Right? I appreciate that. I try to make it all encompassing for everyone, and I really appreciate the support everyone's shown. I mean, it's been fantastic. We're on our way. Let's just keep on doing what we're doing. Keep Greyhawk moving forward. I'm looking forward to the first weekend in October. I think we all are. Sign up for events. There's plenty of events. Even if you're a novice, there's Greyhawk Reborn events. Amy's got a couple games. Gosh, Amy, I never pronounce your name on here. So she's got games. Scott Casper's got games. Prater's Rejects just submitted their, because I was pounding him, he just submitted his. There's a ton of games on there. So Alan Growe's got a game that's not filled yet. So you can, if you're old school, plenty of stuff. Oh, look at that. Late to the show as always, Casey there. So Casey, y'all excited about Saturday? I hope you are. I'll see everyone on Wednesday night. Anna and Mike will be on, along with a bunch of triads from Geoff and Leonard at the beginning. And cool, man. It's going to be a blast. Tim says he's out for you. Just kidding. So, no, Alan's third game is Amanda. So Amanda, he has 3 games. He has Bottle City and 2 others. The third game still has like 3 or 4 open slots. Wiley Hobbit's got a game with 1 slot open on Sunday afternoon, I believe at 4 p.m. Eastern. Check that out. That'll be a good one. Carlos's game was the second. Casey actually beat Carlos and Phil up, believe it or not. Casey edged him out by a nose in one of his games. Casey's got room for his tournament. He's got 3 tables. He's doing a Bandit Kingdom Living Greyhawk tournament. So 2 of his tables have spots open for that as well. It's 3. Are you running at 3.5? Yeah, yes. I think he's running in Pathfinder Edition 3.5. Cool. Yeah. There's stuff for everyone. Or if you just want to watch the seminars, there's stuff. Please sign up for as many seminars as you want. There are highlighted streams as well. We just want to get people involved. And if you reach out to me with questions or comments or complaints, whatever, I want to hear them, because we want to make this great for everyone. So awesome. All right. Who's on the raid? Tabletop Notch is still on. That's right. Thank you, Corey. We're going to raid in. Yes, Amy's running the same game twice. Amy's going to run a great game. Sign up for hers, please, too. Like I said, I'm pushing, if you notice in Discord, I keep on pushing highlighted streams out. I pushed Will's out. I pushed Nightheart Gaming's. I pushed Mike Disney's out. Sign up for them, you know. And Cobalt Press is going. Are they? Oh, yeah. You know what, Corey?
They started.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure if they're still on though.
They don't really partner with us. So I'm going to do someone who partners with us, and let's hit Help Tabletop Notch. We haven't hit them up in months. So see you. Yeah, I know, Corey, but I got to show the love to those that show me the love, right? I got to do that first. So understood. And Anna works for him. Anna does work for him.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So awesome. All right, here we go. See you, Jason. Thank you. See you Wednesday.
Okay.
Setting up the raid. Thanks, Rox.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Jason, you still there?
Awesome.
Oh, I'm there.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking to.
Stay. Can you stay on? Because I want you to talk to Anna after we raid here, okay? About what you discussed with me beforehand. Sound good?
Sure.
Awesome.
Sure.
That'd be great. All right, setting up a raid. Thank you. Rob, I'd be raiding into you if you were on, man. 40 viewers, beautiful. 41. Starting in 10 seconds, all right? Here we go. See you all Wednesday. Awesome. Okay, make sure this went in. Whew. Awesome show, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun.
So we'll do part 2, like maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, okay, on this.
You put it in the schedule when you want to, and I'm glad I was a little bit of help. Not much, but.
Oh, you were
Anna,
great.
Come on, it was fun. It was
Yeah, I did blast.